Alabama's sports talk leader, Tiger Communications, proudly presents SportsCall. It's time to join our SportsCall crew as they discuss the latest headlines and happenings around Auburn and the entire sports world. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. We're taking phone calls all show long and want to talk about whatever you've got on your mind. And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show, Sports Call.
Welcome, Auburn, into the Thursday edition of Sports Call, live on Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. My name is Ryan Lavoie, the host of the program. Today, I am joined by Jack Myrick and by Brooks Childress with Connor Knight running the stream for us here on this Thursday edition of the program. That's right. You can still watch the show live on YouTube and on Facebook's at Sports Call Auburn. Of course, all of the traditional ways to continue listening to Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show on your radio dial, Tiger 95.9, the website, the Tiger.fm, and the app, the Tiger Communications app. On today's program, we're going to be talking to Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer. That'll be at about 3:30. We'll catch up with him about the latest on the Auburn Tigers. They were off today, no practice, so nothing new of sorts from yesterday, but we'll recap some what Coach Golis said yesterday after there are a couple scrimmages in now. Get some injury updates and that sort of thing from Justin Ferguson. We'll talk in just a second about the newest contract in the SEC coaching world, or maybe get to a phone call or two, but we'll definitely take phone calls. We'll get to Brent Venables' new contract at some point in today's program. We'll also play out Scolish audio for you from just yesterday, talking about scrimmage number 2. That'll be in the 4 o'clock hour. And in the 5 o'clock hour, we will talk about the Texas Longhorns. We have 2 more SEC teams to preview, Texas and Georgia. So Texas is up today. If you want to give us a phone call to join us, 334-887-3401 locally, or toll free 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Ryan, Jack, and Brooks with you here today. Jack Myrick, how is your Thursday, sir?
It's going all right. Just hanging in there, staying busy. Always. The sports world is really heating up right now with football season just at our doorstep right now. Obviously, high school football. We have coverage on that on FM Talk, Tiger 95.9 this week. It's busy. It's ramping up. And then Auburn football is just less than 2 weeks away almost.
We had our first high school coaches show, speaking of high school, last night at Waldo's Chicken and Beer. Appreciate everyone for coming out to that. Brooks Childress, of course, hosted that. Of course, Brooks and Jack will be on the call of the East Alabama High School game of the week. Again, that is on FM Talk 93.9, 6:30 on Friday. And, of course, Beauregard High School football with Tim Sin and the crew begins this Friday also at 6:30. And, of course, over on FM Talk after the conclusion of the East Alabama game of the week, we will have the Alabama High School Athletic Association scoreboard show. Brooks Childress joins us now after a busy night last night at Waldo's. Brooks, appreciate you being there and appreciate you being here. How are you doing?
I don't know if yesterday or last night or today in the office has been busier because I've been running around, and I thought today was going to be a lull between the 2 high school events for this week, but it has not been. I've been firing off all day and running around, but yeah, last night was so fun getting things kicked off as we didn't, the second year in a row we've been at Waldo's. Fantastic hosts once again. Great food. I had this new sandwich called the Southern. It had pimento cheese on it. Oh gosh, it was so good. And it was a great time last night. Had 11 schools show up last night. Got to visit with the new head coaches up at Lee Scott, at Opelika, at Lafette. Lots of new faces, but also some faces we're used to seeing around the area. And so it's going to be great. Things get kicked off tonight. The AHSAA TV game of the week is in our area, and it's a battle between the number 1 and number 2 preseason 7A or 6A squads. See, I'm already going to mess it up. Yeah. I'm going to do that so much this year. But the number 1 and number 2 preseason 6A squads in Thompson and Central Phoenix City. New coach Cody Flournoy down there at Central. I'm sure, taking over for Coach Nix. It's big shoes to fill, but with a team like Central Phoenix City, they're just going to restock and be ready to go and be in contention for championships once again. So it's awesome. We're getting things fired up. Can't wait to be out at the game of the week, Lynette and Lochapoka tomorrow night. Me and Jack out there on FM Talk 93.9. And I'll tell you this. You mentioned listening after the game to the post-game show with the AHSA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. There may be maybe a couple surprises for folks that are familiar with our program tomorrow night if you tune in and listen to the show. And I would say listen to it completely because there's a couple surprises for folks listening out there. So make sure you tune in and listen to that all night, 10 to midnight over on FM Talk 93.9. That's all I can say for right now.
I have guesses, but I won't say them out loud.
That's all I can say for right now. But if you are familiar with this program and either current or the history of it in the past few years, you may hear something familiar. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that then. All right. Again, we'll get going here on this Thursday. Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer will join us at 3:30. So let's go ahead and take our first phone call of the show, 334-887-3401 locally or toll-free 1-888-9-TIGER-9.
Ward Dam Steve.
Retired Ward Dam Steve joins us. Steve, how are you doing today?
Ward Dam Eagle, Arkansas. Is that right?
Yeah. War Eagle, Arkansas. Yep.
Are you kidding me? And yet we don't have a town in Alabama named War Eagle. What's wrong with that?
I don't know, man. I mean, obviously they didn't name it after Auburn and Arkansas, but it's fun. It's a fun coincidence.
Yeah, I was just wondering, if I could ask those people, email them, hey, do they wear T-shirts that say War Eagle when they go to Arkansas football games?
Yeah, you'll have to find some land near the 251 that's not been incorporated yet, and incorporate it and make it be called War Eagle.
Yeah. Do you happen to know the origins? Because I listened to your towns, but I didn't recall if you knew what the origins was for War Eagle. I know Tom said something about War Eagle bait shop or something.
I'm trying to rack my brain. I had it all on the laptop at the time, so if I said it, if I didn't say it then there wasn't anything to be found on it. So nothing's coming to mind right now, but I have to go back.
I'm at a loss to understand how they come up with War Eagle. You're in Arkansas. But anyway, moving on. Before I forget it, happy National Radio Day, guys. Today is National Radio Day.
You know what? I honestly did not know that, but I appreciate it.
Jack, get on it. Make it
now
graphic.
You know it. Now you know. And another piece of trivia that I would have never guessed this one, along with National Radio Day. According to a most recent poll, they found that half of the population still listens to AM and FM radio in their car.
And that's good news. We like to hear that.
For us.
I find that incredulous with the Sirius XM being so prevalent and Spotify and all the other ones streaming, that half of the population still listens. I take it they may be the only skewed population that they study. Maybe it's the people on Social Security and Medicare. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what the sample size was or who they surveyed, but yeah, we'll take it. And again, I can speak for myself. Now, again, maybe it's because I am a radio guy, but every time I get in the car, it may not be sports talk that I'm listening to, but I do listen to FM radio. So, I unless I'm on a long trip where I'm going to go through different areas and going to put a playlist on or a podcast. If it's just the short jaunt to work, then I'm usually listening to the radio.
And I feel like there was a study or a survey a few years back right after COVID, and people were asked, like, what was the biggest thing you missed about, your daily routine when COVID was going on? And people said, listening to the radio on my commute was like one of the top answers.
Well, that's encouraging to hear because, I'm very, very, very old school, old as dirt probably. And I still listen to FM radio, but I typically listen to it, through my platform in my car. So moving on, guys, this time is really short. Today, according to the History Channel, a rather remarkable event occurred and has never been repeated and probably will never occur, they said, ever again in Major League Baseball. It occurred in 1945 on this date.
Well, I don't know where to begin. If it's only, he said it's only happened that one time.
Only one time. They said it probably will never be repeated.
Someone hitting 4 homers a game or 5 homers a game. I don't know.
All right, Brooks, Jack.
Say it again. Sorry, I was reading.
Sure. This event occurred in 1945 on this date, and according to the History Channel, will probably never be repeated.
In baseball.
In baseball.
Right. In
Yeah.
Major League Baseball.
I have no clue on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so Ryan is on the right track. You're warm. It's about home runs.
Okay. About I don't know. So is it a team? How many homers a team hit, or
No, an individual.
so hitting 5, not or hitting 3 home runs in an inning?
Let me go ahead and get to you because I'm running short.
Yeah.
On this date in 1945, a Brooklyn Dodgers, they call it a utility player, but actually played shortstop, by the name of Tommy Brown, homers to drive in the team's only run, but that was not the real reason why this came up, an 11-1 loss to the Pittsburgh Pirates. What was significant about Tommy Brown? He was 17 years old.
So youngest player to hit a home run.
He remains the youngest player to ever hit a homer in Major League Baseball games.
Gotcha.
So if you didn't care to know it now, then you know it now, whether you like it or not. All right. And then, guys, this came to my attention. I said, wow, is there no end to this? I'm talking about betting and gambling in sports. Well, it comes from The Athletic. And it's entitled, Are You Ready to Short the Blackhawks or Go Long on the Cubs? The future of sports could be going in this direction, guys. They're going to be this team. I say that Brett Dinsdale and Lee Taylor's company called Future Sports has partnered with a group called CME to launch actually sort of like a stock exchange on future sports teams. You get to invest. That's what they call investing, okay, on sports teams. They've already got a contract agreement with the NHL.
Right. So kind of like the prediction markets that exist right now.
Well, it's even more than that. It's like being on Wall Street. You can you can invest in your favorite team. You can go short on them, or you can go long with them, and you continue sort of like if you were investing in any other commodity.
All right.
If you want to sell short, or go long. It launches on September 28th with the National Hockey League, and they're looking to also include other sports teams as well. Wow.
Is it not tied to the performance of those teams?
Yes, it is.
Right. Well, so that that they're just marketing it differently, but that's just basically a prediction market.
Well, it says here, financial indexes and futures trading are a little more complex, it says, than sports betting or prediction markets. They said you'll have to be pretty savvy. They said you'll have to understand how to trade derivatives. He said that's a prerequisite because they're complicated financial instruments. So you have to have a trading history here.
Gotcha. Okay. There's an extra step
to go long or short a team as you see fit. And they'll start off with a base index value of 7,500. Well, anyway, I just thought I'd bring it to your attention because I said, wow, this is, becoming more and more complicated. And I'm just amazed, maybe I shouldn't be, that professional sports teams are now allowing their brand to be it's almost like they're prostituting themselves.
I mean, yeah, it's the latest in a trend of again, their advertising and groups of people that are willing to spend a lot of money advertising with these teams and with these leagues. So, that's why we talk about the slippery slope with the actual participants in the league and all the rules around them not betting and that sort of thing, because of how ingratiated it's becoming with everyone. So, I don't see it stopping unless there becomes a true breach, league-wide breach in one of these leagues in terms of the outcomes being fixed or that sort of thing. That's what would put a big halt on it, unless obviously the federal government got involved, which I don't see them doing for right now.
And what's interesting, just like in stock markets, you can sell anytime you want to, or you can buy anytime you want to, based on the team's performance. If it looks like they're not doing like as good as you thought they were, and they're going down, sort of like your stocks are, you can dump them.
Right. Yeah. I mean that, that's still, the same concept of some of those prediction markets, because the prediction market is like, the odds of a team winning, and then you can sell that while the game's happening, or, buy more or whatever. So I know there's an extra step to it, but they're just nuancing something that was just created basically. And that's going to be kind of how that industry works, where they're just going to keep adding and adding to what they've already done, and try to get a few different ways of looking at something that's kind of at its base the same thing.
Yeah, so I guess the bad beats guy will have another category to look at then.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Okay, well that's it. That's all I've got. The Athletic to me gives me more crazy stories I never normally would see on regular social media or news. So I said, well, let me bring this one up. This one struck me as odd. Well, guys, thanks for your time. I know time is really short. So with that, until next time, you have a War Damn Eagle afternoon. And anybody listening from Arkansas, War Eagle to you.
War Eagle, Steve, we appreciate it. That is retired War Damn Steve joining us on the Sports Call phone line. We got about 5 or so minutes left before we take our first break and then get to Justin Ferguson. And again, no practice today for the Auburn football team. They were off completely. Again, I think they had, out of the first 12 days or 13 days, maybe 2 days off. And of course, now you kind of are getting closer to the game week rhythm, because next week is game week for the week 0 teams. We are 9 days away from week 0. Yeah, single digits.
Gosh, can't it get here?
Yeah.
Can't get here quick enough.
I've interested Brooks Childress. Can I interest you both in 16 days until Auburn kicks off?
Less interested than 9, but yes, I'm very interested.
Sure. So it's arriving. Along those lines, real quickly, I'll go ahead and bring this up, because I don't have it does not have to be a long talking point. I just wanted to say that I found this a very odd extension today. So obviously Pete Thamel's doing a lot of reporting on the NFL players trying to come back to college. Anyway, we're going to avoid that for now. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. But what has been reported about Oklahoma today, Brent Venables agreeing to a 6-year contract extension that averages $10.5 million per year. Adds 2 years to the current deal. So really it's a 6-year contract, 2-year extension, goes through 2031. It's not as bad when you think of just adding 2 years to it, but let's keep in mind the record for Brent Venables, 32-20 at Oklahoma. And they are coming off their best season with him at the helm, but that seems a bit odd when you still had 4 years left. This is August, right before the season starts. As Brooks, you said off air to me, there's no one trying to leverage him right now. This is risky to me. I did not think Brent Venables' seat was safe. I think he's a 7-5 away from he should be fired. This is Oklahoma, and you have 20 losses in 4 seasons. So I'm pretty flabbergasted by this, and I'm just not sure where the logic exists in an extension right before the season of a coach that's has some trouble brewing.
This, I mean, like I told you off the air, and you just mentioned it. It's like it's a weird timing, because it's as you mentioned, they are coming off their best year. But you feel like if you're coming off your best year, you get an extension. That happens in December or January, maybe trailing into like February when you're starting spring ball. But we're in August, and we're sitting here 2 weeks away from the season, and we're figuring out, hey, here's an extension. It just feels weird. Like literally, I was just scrolling through it. The only job that's open. There's typically no jobs open this time of year. The only job that is technically open is Northern Illinois is looking for, they've got an interim coach for this year. That's it. I don't think Brent Venables is being enticed by the Huskies when you've got the Oklahoma job. But this feels like an extension, like you said, if it is coming at the end of the year where, somebody's sniffing around. Here's Iowa sniffing around, or here's Georgia starting to sniff around as they whoever. somebody sniffing around. You got to get us that extension. Like when Auburn had Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn got a few extensions because of the Arkansas job coming open. Every time Arkansas was open, everybody would say, "Oh, here comes another extension for Gus," because they'd start calling. And so it's a weird timing, a weird spot. It's just it feels like, I don't know. I don't know why, what it feels like. Really, it's just maybe there was some chatter behind the scenes with the agent, with Brent Venables' agent, about, hey, if we don't get an extension, you don't show trust in us, we're gonna we'll start shopping during the season and won't, and something. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is here, Jack, about getting an extension at this point before the season, before there's any proof of anything this year.
Yeah, it kind of definitely, as we're all mentioning, comes a kind of surprise, just because I wouldn't say he was in the hot seat, but you kind of felt like he wasn't as secure as you'd think to get an extension like that.
If you didn't live up to expectations of a double-digit win this year, you felt like could be chatter.
Because he has only one playoff appearance, I think.
Yeah,
correct?
last year,
yeah,
and they lost to Alabama.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. It's confusing. I don't know. It's an odd decision. It might come back and pretty much bite them, in the butt in the future. Because like if it doesn't work out, if he can't get it together, because nothing really says what he's done, at least for Oklahoma standards at the moment, where they've been, where they can be, says he's deserving of that extension.
I'm going to say something before we go to break, and it's going to sound like it's a hot take, and it's not. Brent Venables will ultimately be fired from the Oklahoma job. And that sounds like a hot take, but when you consider the paths that these college coaches are taking, and look around the SEC right now, how many coaches have been around for a bunch of years?
One.
Okay, one, exactly. Even the Kentucky coach that had seemed very stable fired last year. Okay, in college football, 3 things happen. You retire at that school, you move in a job like that at Oklahoma, at least. You move to the NFL, you get fired, or you retire at that school. Okay, sure. If you're in the American, you're a smaller school. Apparently, if you're Ole Miss, you can be left for another big job. Okay, so there's a 4th branch to that. But for guys in their dream jobs, at their ultimate jobs, like Brent Venables, who went to Oklahoma, went to OU, there's only 3 paths for him. I've not heard any whiff of him wanting to go to the NFL. So he's either going to retire at OU or he's going to end up getting fired. And it's going to be the latter, because someone that's 32 and 20 in 4 seasons does not inspire the confidence nor the consistency for me to think that he's going to be able to make it through this cutthroat time in college athletics.
You want to make it? You want me to make it all just 3 again? Retire, leave for, or no, retire. What was the second one you said? Leave
for the NFL.
For the NFL, or what was the?
If you're a smaller school, you can take a bigger job. But that doesn't apply to him.
Yes. One of them is if you want to combine 2 of them, you leave because of a buyout. Either you're fired or you're leaving for a different job, because there's a buyout involved either way. You're buying it out or they're buying you out.
So, again, I don't see the logic in this contract from Oklahoma. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not that it was expiring at the end of the year or anything. He had 4 years left on it. So an interesting one for sure. But we need to take our first time out of the program. On the other side of this break, Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer will join us. We'll talk all things Auburn, as we are 16 days away from kickoff. This is the Thursday edition of Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Looking for another way to listen to our show? Be sure to download the Tiger Communications app and listen to Sports Call wherever you go.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Tiger Rewards checking at Auburn University Credit Union gives you the tools to manage your credit, monitor for fraud, telehealth services, loan discounts, and more. Visit myaucu.org for more details. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Today, high temperatures will once again be into the mid-90s, but we'll see a higher coverage area of shower and thunderstorm development. Around 40 to 50% of the area could see some much-needed rain. Lows will be in the low 70s overnight. Friday, high temperatures not quite as hot, as we'll see low 90s across the area, as many places do once again see the threat of a shower or thunderstorm developing. About half of the area can expect to see some rain, with lows dropping to around 70. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update.
Looking for great deals while supporting a great cause? Visit Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store, conveniently located on East University behind Zaxby's. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 until 5 with a huge selection of furniture, clothing for the whole family, books, home decor, and so much more. Have items to donate? We'll gladly accept donations at the back of the store from 10 until 4. Shop, donate, and make a difference at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store, where every purchase helps change lives.
We all know Jimmy's Car Stereo in Auburn has you covered when it comes to car stereos, accessories, and expert installation. But did you know Jimmy's is also your go-to spot for ATV and UTV gear? They've got 32-inch sassies, 3,500, 4,500, and 6,000-pound winches, belts, lighting, whips, laser lights, side mirrors, bumpers, phone holders, and rear mirrors. So whether you're upgrading your ride, decking out your ATV or UTV, or adding audio to your boat, Jimmy's has the gear and the know-how to make it happen. Jimmy's Car Stereo in Auburn. If it rolls, rides, or floats, Jimmy's makes it sound better.
At Southern Union State Community College, success isn't a solo journey. It's powered by something bigger. A herd of faculty, mentors, industry partners, and a community committed to helping you move forward. Whether you're earning a degree that prepares you for immediate entry into the workforce, transferring to a university, or learning a new skill, Southern Union helps you find your strength and run with it. Herd powered, performance driven. Southern Union State Community College. Apply today at suscc.edu.
TK's Convenience Stores are your one-stop shop from Auburn to the Lake and Tallahassee to Tuskegee. Offering friendly service and a clean environment, there is sure to be a TK's located near you. Stop by on your way to and from work or school and pick up everything you need, from beer, soft drinks, and fresh hot coffee to food, snacks, and ice cream. Plus, automotive and household products, pet food, and an ATM in every store. Just look for the orange and blue Starburst sign and stop by your local TK store today. TK's Convenience Stores, they're your one-stop shop.
Our Falcons play here.
What we do on the grass, what we do in this weight room, it's been fun to watch. A bunch of professionals.
It's a new team and a new season. Catch Falcons head coach Kevin Stefanski and Our Falcons Saturday for game 2 of the preseason as our Falcons travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts.
Atlanta Falcons football on WTGZ Tiger 95.9.
It's heating up at Suns Ford in Auburn with the hottest sale of the year. Now's the time to save big on a huge selection of new Ford trucks, SUVs, and cars. Whether you're looking for a rugged F-150, a family-friendly Explorer, or a fuel-efficient Escape, you'll find incredible deals waiting for you. Don't let these summer savings pass you by. Visit Suns Ford in Auburn today or shop online at sunsford.com and pick the Ford you've been wanting at a price you'll love. Suns Ford in Auburn, where the hottest deals of the year are happening now.
Every day is a good day at Waldo's Chicken and Beer on South College Street in Auburn. Monday, test your brain with trivia night. Tuesday and Sunday, enjoy happy hour prices all day long. That's $5 pints and Waldo Ritas. Wednesday, the high school coaches show starts at 6 and kids night Thursday. And Friday, bring your valid student ID. And with the purchase of an entree, you'll get a free biscuit basket. Waldo's Chicken and Beer on South College Street in Auburn. There's always something happening at Waldo's.
Now back to Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show, SportsCall.
Welcome back. This is the Thursday edition of Sports Call, Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan Lavoie, Brooks Childress, and Jack Myrick coming to you live from our Auburn Bank studios, where we are now pleased to be joined on the Sports Call phone line by Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer. Justin, as always, the time is greatly appreciated. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. How are y'all?
Doing very well. So an off day for the Tigers today, but they were busy with another scrimmage earlier this week and kind of got some more roster updates and injury news. And I do want to start with Jakaleb Falk, Justin, because, again, I know that he was not going to be necessarily a starter, but I know he was vying for some playing time. So with the collarbone injury, tell us about what it means for that edge rushing position.
Yeah, it just gets a little bit more interesting in terms of like who you're going to need to kind of step up there at that spot. I think he was going to be a rotation guy. If you look at the two edge rushing spots, it's Deshaun Womack and Jared Smith. Nate Johnson and Chris Murray are probably your top names behind them. Those guys have each had to kind of get back to full speed, kind of get in the flow of things. They've each been kind of banged up at times in fall camp. So, it's that next wave you look at. So I would say probably you're looking at, what can you get out of Joe Phillips this year potentially? What could you get early out of Jacquez Wilkes? That's probably going to be your situation in terms of like pure pass rusher, edge rusher type. Now, I do think this could open up an opportunity that if you need to steal some snaps on the edge, you could probably play some defensive tackles out on the outside, especially on early downs, because they can hold up against the run but still give you that pass rushing that you want out there. So Darren Smith, Cody Sigler also mentioned his possibilities out there. So I think Auburn's going to have the depth to be fine for JJ because you felt like he was going to be in the mix to get some sort of playing time. He had a good camp. But, really it just kind of puts a little dent in your rotation. You're going to have to kind of feel around step up there. Could get some help this year, but it was far from a guarantee.
Justin, 2 scrimmages in here for Auburn football. What's one of the biggest things that you think this coaching staff has learned about this team so far?
I think they're really pleased with the where the passing game is right now. With Byron Brown, Keyshawn Singleton's had 2 monster scrimmages. Jeremiah Coger has a good run. Chaz Nimrod continues to be really, really good. You've got Christian Neptune getting healthier. You've got, of course, a guy and Deshaun Spencer who continues to impress. I think this passing game, the tight ends have done well as well. I think this passing game's in a really good spot, heading into the season. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the bullets start flying for real. But, this is what you were hoping for when you brought in Alex Golish and you knew he could bring that kind of core of that passing attack, which was so successful at USF last season. It's kind of the heartbeat of this explosive offense. So I think that's a positive is that I think that, back-to-back scrimmages now, you have heard really, really positive things about the state of Auburn's passing attack. And when that has been the thing that Auburn has lacked the most over the last, 6, 7, 8 seasons, that is exactly what you want to hear if you're Auburn is that, hey, these guys that we invested so much time and effort and money in, bringing them in here and giving them kind of the keys to this offense, they're performing pretty well.
Ferg, I know we've talked a lot of offensive line, not only this fall, but even back to SEC Media Days with you. And, it continues to be one of the question marks for this team. And coming out earlier this week was some statements that suggested that Auburn might be playing 6, 7, maybe even 8 guys in the opener.
Yep.
Do you feel that will happen? And what is Auburn trying to get out of that?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of like how many guys they like at guard. I think their tackle spot's pretty solidified. You need Joe Simmons and Stanton Ramil to continue to play well and be healthy. They both had good scrimmages yesterday. We're out there for pretty much the whole time, and that's a good sign there. Your tackle depth behind them is very thin and very young. So you're banking a lot on those guys to, give you a lot of good reps this year and stay healthy. So, I think it's really just coming down to who they trust at guard and how much they trust them, because that is kind of the question mark. Like Joe Simmons started every game last season for a team that made the college football playoff at James Madison. Stanton Ramil has been a captain and a multi-year starter in the Big Ten. Those guys are a little bit more solidified. Now you look at guard and and obviously at center, you've got Cole Best, and he's been running this offense, this exact offense for a while now. It's the guard spots where you feel like, all right, there's your biggest question marks from that group, because you got Derek Plaz, who was a reserve young guy at Miami. You've got a situation of Jacob Strand, who didn't play a ton at Oregon State last year because of injuries. You've got maybe a guy like Kenneth McManus, who was a kind of a versatile dude at Akron. You got a guy in Cole Skinner, who was really the sixth man for USF last year. You got Jacoby Ward, who's a redshirt freshman. You've got those guys. And so I could see there not being a ton of true separation in that group, and say, okay, if we don't feel like any of these guys are like every down, can't miss, got to have them every time you can, why not keep them fresher? Why not rotate a little bit more and try to see if you can find some separation in the season? So I think if they do rotate this year, it's probably going to end up being trying some different faces at guard, seeing if one of them catches fire, seeing if two of them can catch fire would obviously be the ideal. And then if not, just continuing to kind of keep those guys fresh. And, if you're lacking that kind of, all right, this dude's kind of locked in, kind of makes sense to try to, play with a little bit more depth there.
Justin, switching sides to the defensive side of the ball here, we learned over the last day or so, the preseason AP All-Americans, Xavier Atkins is on that list from Auburn. Not surprising the preseason hype he's gotten, but I want to go away from him and look at the rest of the defense and want to get you to give me an under the radar pick that if they find themselves on the postseason SEC all team players, you would not be surprised.
I think Cody Stickley's got that potential at tackle. I've been high on him since he's come on board. He was the top 10 defensive tackle in the country last season in Arkansas. According to Pro Football Focus, his grades, he can do best defensive tackle. He's a really good, versatile defensive tackle at 300 pounds. Guy's got a crazy good motor. He's been a leader for that group. I could see him making enough plays this season to be like, that dude is, kind of coming up out of nowhere and making it happen. I guess elsewhere, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see kind of who else kind of emerges. If Deshaun Womack ends up being like a guy who's all SEC, caliber at the end of the season, I wouldn't be stunned, just because he's a guy that I think when you watch him at Ole Miss and LSU, he produced. He just didn't get starter quality reps. So you like the numbers, you like the rate, you like the efficiency of him as a pass rusher. He's just never been the guy. Well, at Auburn, you need him to be the guy or one of the guys. So he's a guy that I think you really like there. And then if you want another under the radar, it'd probably be a little bit tougher to give you Elijah Melendez, just because I think Atkins will be next to him. Be interested to see how that kind of plays break down there. I'm really high on Eric Winters. Just if you're looking for a safety who could kind of break from the pack and just be like, all right, this guy's the real deal, it might be Eric Winters. He's had a phenomenal preseason. He's had a great fall camp, as we've heard here recently, playing really well. He was an awesome run support guy last year. I think he's going to play a lot more over the top of this defense. If Auburn's defense, especially on that back end, has a pretty good year, I think Eric Winters is going to be a pretty key part of that.
Last year, Ferg, I felt DJ Durkin really rotated a ton of bodies, more than the average team. Maybe I'm just wrong on that, but it certainly felt like they played a lot of dudes. This year, how does it compare depth-wise? Is he going to be able to play as many players rotationally as he did last year?
Yeah, I think they've got the names for sure. I think the thing with this defense is you just don't know who's going to kind of separate themselves and be the guys, right? Outside of a handful of positions, you feel like, okay, any of these guys can contribute and kind of play. I think the best way to look at this defense this year is say, hey, it's going to be like about 22 to 24 guys that you want, like a 2 deep across the board of guys you want to rely on this year, and then just roll from there. Maybe a little bit deeper at defensive tackle, just because that's a position group that you want to have a little bit more rotation at. Might not be quite as deep, at inside linebacker, or maybe safety, just because you like the experience coming back there. But it is a group that I think for the most part has that depth. I think this roster is pretty well built. I think it's got great balance. I think it's got a mix of experience, young guys, and talent, and transfers and all that. I think it's built really, really well. The question is just going to be, how does it perform, on Saturdays? And I think since there's so many new faces and there's so many guys having to jump into new roles and having to tweak and adapt, Even on the defensive side where you did bring back, DJ Durkin and a lot of these guys. The depth, I have no question about the depth of this team. It's just going to be kind of the top end talent, right? Proving themselves, on Saturdays. That's going to be the real question with this defense.
And of course, Ferg, you mentioned yesterday as you guys saw Bryce Kane working on the defensive side of the ball. And, that took me back to when we had, Trevon Reed on this program, a great example of someone that started as a wide receiver, ended up making himself into a really good DB. Is this a permanent change for Bryce Kane or just kind of what's the situation with him?
It could be a permanent thing. I think it's just a matter of opportunity right now. Bryce Kane was probably going to be your third at best slot receiver heading into the season. I think Christian Neptune and Deshaun Spencer had kind of separated themselves ahead of him. And then, of course, Chaz Nimrod is a guy who can play the slot as well. So it was just going to be hard to find playing time for him. Meanwhile, corner is a position that's a little thinner for Auburn outside of Andre Jordan Jr., Rashawn Pleasant, and I think now Blake Woodby and Gavin Jenkins have kind of been that next tier. Who's it after there at corner, and especially if a guy like Blake Woodby is playing more nickel or he's they're doing a little bit more versatility kind of stuff with him. There might be more opportunities at corner because then again, now you're at a point for a corner where you may be one or two injuries away from, all right, you might be in the 2 deep or you might be in the mix. You might be able to get in the rotation. So, I'm not expecting him to be a guy that plays a lot, this year at corner. He is continuing to compete on special teams as a punt returner. There's great value there, but he's got a good attitude. You gotta appreciate a guy being willing to make this change. And just kind of thinking out loud here, I think it's a situation where if he plays more special teams and not just return man, like say they want him as a gunner or they want to make him, on a coverage team or something like that, it would probably be in their best interest to let him play on a side of a ball where he'd do a little bit more hitting, just kind of thinking that there. So, Gullis said yesterday there's a chance that he could go back to wide receiver if we need him at wide receiver, but we're going to see what he does at corner, see if he sticks to it and if that's a better fit. It's just the opportunity was more over there for him. He's a guy that was just going to be behind on the depth chart somewhere. There's a little bit more of a need at corner, and that's why he's making that move.
Justin, college football is full of traditions, and one of my favorite is taking quotes out of context from pressers from all over the country. As a cat dad to a cat dad here, I need to ask you, how did you feel when Alex Golesh said cats were sufficient?
That's 100% true. My cat doesn't care if I lived or died. Like it's as long as it can eat, like it's going to be fine. It can take care of itself. That's 100% true. Dogs are helpless. Dogs need so much attention, so much time, so much effort. It's part of the reason why I don't have a dog. But I have two cats, and we have an older cat who literally that cat could not see me for months and be completely fine. And then we have a younger one who just turned 1 not too long ago. She's a little bit more rambunctious, but she can still fend for herself for the most part. So yeah, he's absolutely right. Cats are self-sufficient. You could die and that cat would still probably be all right for a few months. Not necessarily the case with a dog. So I agree with him.
Is it a problem that the head coach of the Auburn Tigers is allergic to cats?
Not necessarily. I would say so. Getting in the weeds here. My wife isn't super allergic to cats, but she's got some issues with it. So we feed our cats a special food that makes them less make them hypoallergenic. So you can work your way around that. If he needs to be near a cat, he could probably make it work. I think it'd be tougher if he was LSU's coach, where they actually have a tiger walking around. So I don't think anybody's ever been allergic to Albie though, so I think he's gonna be fine.
That's true. I was gonna say I don't know if they need to change Albie's diet or not.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I've never heard anybody being allergic to Albie.
Fair enough. He is Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer with us today. Ferg, as always, we've appreciated the time. What you got going on with the Observer right now?
Yeah, it's a busy week, obviously. We had, all the scrimmage notes yesterday. You can check that out. A lot of stuff in there about what we heard from Auburn's second scrimmage, which I think all in all was a really good day for the Tigers. Practice report from earlier in the week. I ran down my picks for the guys who have stood out the most here in fall camp. There's only a couple days left now of fall camp. Did a podcast that came out this morning with Nathan King at Auburn 247. A really good conversation about just kind of an overview of what we've seen and learned and heard from fall camp that you can check out there. And then, we'll be back at the practice field tomorrow. So we'll have, coverage from what goes on there. I believe tomorrow there's corners and linebackers. So it'll be interesting after practice. So we'll get that and kind of wrap up fall camp. And then obviously next week we'll kind of be in game week mode. And so we'll have all that stuff going on at the Observer, getting you ready for that week 1 game against Baylor and all that. So if you want to subscribe, auburnobserver.com. It is $70 for your first full year of the Observer, or $7 a month. So if you want to try us out, it's just $7. But if you subscribe annually up front, you basically get 2 months for free if you go ahead and jump on board, and plenty of people have done that here over the last few weeks. So go to auburnobserver.com, check it out. If you want to just check out the podcast that I did with Nathan King, that is free. So wherever you listen to your podcast, you can listen to that, and then there'll be a lot of links and buttons in there that you can if you want to sign up and get the full thing at the Observer.
We're getting closer and closer. We're so excited for it. He is Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer joining us today again, Ferg. We certainly appreciate the time and look forward to chatting with you again next week.
All right, see you.
That is Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer with us today on Sports Call. We got about 4 or 5 minutes left, so we'll keep it right here. What is the status of Mike the Tiger at LSU? Like the actual Tiger? They don't bring that thing in the stadium anymore, do they?
Not unless it's like a very special occasion. I think when was the last time they did it? I feel like it's been recently.
I just need to know, because Lane Kiffin's going to do something with it.
Oh, no.
That we cannot comprehend, and I just need to be mentally prepared for seeing Lane Kiffin like in the cage or something. So, as dangerous of a situation as that would be, or I mean, granted, it's in Oxford, so they're not going to take the cage up to Oxford, but an Ole Miss people trying to put Lane Kiffin in the Tiger cage. Here, you wanted to be a Tiger, fine.
It was the last time they did it was 2015. So they've not brought the current live mascot, Mike the 7th, I think, does not come and go, has never gone into Tiger Stadium.
Okay.
So it was 2015 was the last time they brought Mike the Tiger in there.
Do you think they'd get as cruel as to feed a squirrel to the tiger?
No, squirrel got in there. They're just like, fend for yourself,
buddy.
Yeah.
I'm saying that would be a shot at Ole Miss from like the squirrel memes and everything.
That's true.
Oh.
But
see, I still, Lane's going to do something with it. You thought that Tiger was ever going
to do
back
social
in the stadium?
media. They'll probably talk him into something about
I knew. Hold on. I continue to read. I knew there was something more recent. 2024. They brought a Tiger in.
Oh.
It was not Mike. It was an outside Tiger.
Okay.
They hired out Mike's job because everybody's
Do you think Lane's training to ride the Tiger into the stadium?
Maybe the costumed one, maybe the costume Mike. I don't know if that would end well.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I jest, of course. If
you put him on the cage, I could see him getting on the cage and riding it like a stagecoach in there. Like it's
like a Boomer Sooner.
Yeah, like you ride that thing in there. I feel like that could be something Lane would do.
Oh man, I don't know. It just, that to me, if Lane gets the thing going in LSU, something dumb will happen with that Tiger. I just know it will.
I feel like you can't bring Mike into the stadium because you got Juice is going to be in the stadium now.
Oh,
Juice! They can't let Mike and Juice both be, in there.
They've they stopped? Maybe I just stopped caring. But they don't. Does Juice? They still post on his accounts and stuff.
Let's see. When was the last time Juice posted on X? It was kind of recent.
Because some of those were, again, Dad told me I couldn't do that. Blah blah blah. I was like, that's Lane Kiffin calling himself Dad on the Dog's Twitter account.
Yeah, so, August 11th they posted. Or Juice posted.
Yeah, Juice did it. Yeah,
he's only following 51 accounts.
Oh, but he's not following Ole Miss anymore.
No, he still is actually.
Whoa.
No. Somebody didn't update this. They're following LSU too, and Raising Canes. With that,
that's the most important one. That's the three.
That's the most important. But yes, somebody didn't do their job, or it's Lane's just trolling them.
Yeah. Okay, like keep your enemies close.
Because that was like the thing, right? When he moved, and they're like, Juice wasn't on the plane. It's like, oh, Juice isn't actually his dog. It's like somebody else's dog. Like that was the whole controversy.
Oh,
but like now he's there.
I'm much better with these controversies than the
That's what they'll do.
Warrior stuff.
They'll have Juice dressed up as a tiger. That's what they'll do.
Okay.
That checks out more. Where that's like they'll just have him in like some little tiger costume, and it will be against Auburn on Halloween.
See if I can find the last picture that he's posted of himself.
Or not against Auburn, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I'm still linked to Ole Miss, but that he might do it against because they don't play Halloween. I was trying to think who they play. Halloween.
Yeah, they're off because they got Bama. Next week. Yeah,
then I guess that'll be the family photo.
But no, I mean it's not just a 1-year stay. He'll cook it up at some point. He's got time. He doesn't have to bring out the whole bag of tricks in year one.
I don't think they haven't posted a picture of Juice live since November 8th.
Wow.
Little pregame meal for Ole Miss.
Maybe you need to start tweeting that out. Release the Juice files.
Yeah, where's Juice? Give us a picture. Prove that he's actually in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, prove he's okay.
Prove he's in Baton Rouge. I think we kind of dropped that story.
Let the Juice loose.
We kind of dropped the story. Maybe Juice did get left in Oxford, and Lane Kiffin's just keeping up the ruse by posting.
Yeah, trying to keep up appearances. I don't know. All right, that about does it for us here in hour number 1 of the program. Again, coming up hour number 2, around 4:20 or so, we're going to air the Alex Golesh press conference audio from yesterday. It was after another Auburn scrimmage. He gave some pretty thorough updates on the roster situation and on how everything is looking. Again, hour number 3 today, we will get into the number 2 spot on the preseason SEC media poll, which was the Texas Longhorns. So we'll talk Texas in the 5 o'clock hour. If you want to give us a call, 334-887-3401 locally, or toll free 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Sports Call returns after this end of the hour timeout.
One hour of our show is in the books. We've got more to come. Stay tuned for another hour of Sports Call right after the break.
Some beers are made to blend in. Blue Moon Belgian White was brewed to stand out. Crafted with Valencia orange peel for a bright citrus taste and a smooth, refreshing finish, it's the perfect way to elevate any occasion. Served best with an orange garnish, every sip brings out its signature flavor. Whether you're unwinding after work or gathering with friends, reach for something a little brighter. Blue Moon Belgian White. Made brighter, please enjoy responsibly.
Looking for great deals while supporting a great cause? Visit Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store, conveniently located on East University behind Zaxby's. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 until 5 with a huge selection of furniture, clothing for the whole family, books, home decor, and so much more. Have items to donate? We'll gladly accept donations at the back of the store from 10 until 4. Shop, donate, and make a difference at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store, where every purchase helps change lives.
The Rape Counselors of East Alabama provide free and confidential services to survivors of sexual assault, their family, and friends, and to provide sexual assault prevention education. The RCEA also offers financial assistance to survivors with out-of-pocket expenses that aren't covered by Alabama Crime Victims Compensation. All funds collected directly assist survivors to help with the healing process as well as other community and recovery needs. To learn more, go to rapecounselorsofeastalabama.com. The RCEA is seeking donations for the Auburn Assault Victim Fund. If you would like to donate, visit GoFundMe.com/Auburn Victim Fund.
When it comes to important money matters, you matter most. At Mid-South Bank, we're a place for you to put your loyalty and trust. That's why we offer products and services to make your banking chores easy and convenient for both your business and your personal needs. Come in today at 519 East Glen Avenue or visit bankmidsouth.com to find out what the friendliest, most helpful bank in town can do for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
TK's Convenience Stores have a brand new look. That's right. Look for the red, white, and blue. It's Arco, American-owned top-tier gasoline, now at select TK's locations. Need great gas at a great price? TK's and Arco have you covered with the best price gas in town. American-made fuel for you and your family. So roll into your neighborhood TK's today, where TK's and Arco are as American as apple pie.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. Make sure you listen to the Weekday Rush with James Chandler on Tiger 95.9 FM and the Tiger Communications app.
Good morning, my neighbors! Hey, everybody, I'm Brian Watts, host of the Southeastern Land Show, realtor and forester with Southeastern Land Group.
And I'm Kerry Farrington, co-host Southeastern Land Show, realtor, Georgia broker with Southeastern Land Group. We'd like to invite you to tune into our radio show, the Southeastern Land Show, every Saturday morning on FM Talk 93.9.
The Southeastern Land Show is a show about topics regarding land, from first-time land buyers to seasoned investors, farmers, entrepreneurs, and we even have special guests. There's a wide variety of topics covered each week that will be informative and entertaining to you. We also have contributors from our Southeastern Land Group team on as well.
That's the Southeastern Land Show every Saturday morning on FM Talk 93.9.
The summer heat is here, and the best way to make sure you stay cool all season long is to give May Refrigeration a call. When your AC goes out or needs maintenance, May Refrigeration's technicians are trained and equipped to handle anything that comes their way. And don't forget, it's never a bad time to get your heating system checked, especially when you aren't using it. Give May Refrigeration a call today at 745-COLD. That's 745-COLD. So for quality customer service that you can count on every time, May Refrigeration, proudly serving the Auburn and Opelika area.
The best high school football lives each week on FM Talk 93.9. The East Alabama High School Football Game of the Week returns for another action-packed season, and you can hear all the best games from the area each week with myself, Brooks Childress, and the rest of the crew on the call. Coverage begins with the countdown to kickoff each game day, and you can hear all the action online at thetiger.fm and on the free Tiger Communications app. This week, we open the season with a top 10 matchup between the Lynette Panthers and the Litchfield Indians. It's the East Alabama High School Football Game of the Week, only on FM Talk 93.9. Brought to you by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory, May Refrigeration, Kim Drive, East Alabama, Auburn University Credit Union, Jimmy's Car Stereo, and Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves fall to the Twins on Wednesday and get swept out of town. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Tidal Wave Auto Spa is the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves and your go-to car wash destination all season long. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com to find a location nearest you.
The Braves could not get it done on Wednesday afternoon as they fall to the Twins 6-4 and get swept out of Minneapolis in what was a very offensively challenged series. A.J. Smith-Shawver got his second start of the season, went 4 1/3, gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and struck out 3. Victor Medeiros, though, he got hung with the loss. He gave up an earned run on 1 1/3 innings. It was a tough day all around. The Braves make their second stop on this 4-city road trip coming up this afternoon. A makeup game with the Chicago White Sox. Anthony Kay will be on the mound for the White Sox. He's 9-5 as a 4.01 ERA. Grant Holmes will get the ball for the Braves. He's 7-5 with a 3.82 ERA, 51 walks at 97 strikeouts. Ford leadoff show at 12:55 p.m., 11:55 a.m. and first pitch between the Braves and the White Sox from Rate Field, 2:10 Eastern Time. Of course, you can hear all of it on the Braves Radio Network.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn. Since 1995, Alabama's sports talk leader, Tiger Communications, proudly presents Sports Call. It's time to join our Sports Call crew as they discuss the latest headlines and happenings around Auburn and the entire sports world. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. We're taking phone calls all show long and want to talk about whatever you've got on your mind. And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show, Sports Call.
Second hour of Sports Call beginning right now. Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan Lavoie, Jack Myrick, and Brooks Childress with you here this afternoon. Again, coming up in about 15 or 20 minutes, we will air the Alex Golish audio from yesterday as we get closer and closer to the start of the regular season. 16 days away. It can't get here soon enough. 9 days until week 0. So there will be next Friday a couple of games to look forward to. Of course, we remind you about all of our high school programming, including Beauregard High School football this Friday night at 6:30 as they get the high school season started here on Tiger 95.9 and on FM Talk 93.9. You've got Brooks Childress and Jack Myrick with the East Alabama game of the week. Looking forward to that one. After that, we got the Alabama High School Athletic Association scoreboard show. So it's getting busy, fellas.
Oh yeah.
We're getting football. We're back here.
And tell you, my co-host last night, everybody's familiar with, Mr. Walter Northcutt, will be joining us again on the game of the week this year. But week number 1, he is had already planned a trip. And so he will not be with me and Jack for week number 1 for Lynette and Lochapoka, but he'll return in our week number 2 matchup going down the stretch, and he'll be with us the rest of the season. So happy to have Mr. Northcutt back with us for another great season of high school football. And we're back. It's I can't wait to turn that TV on tonight and see that Thompson Central game. That's going to be so fun, and just that fact that we got live football that means something.
Yeah.
We watched football last weekend. We watched the NFL, but that didn't mean anything. It's just here's a bunch of third stringers running around trying to make a team.
Yeah, or decide to go back to college.
Or
apparently.
go back to college.
Yeah, so really not meaning anything.
Do you think that Auburn could convince a quarterback next year to come from the NFL when Byron Brown's gone? You think we could go up and find? Can Byron Brown come back? If Byron Brown's really good, can he come back next year?
Oh, I don't want to. Yeah.
Who we don't need to go down this road fully, but just quickly, which coach in the FBS do you say immediately is like he's going to go get an NFL player? Just off the top of your head, Kiffin. My first thought was Kirby Smart. Go and get somebody for that defense that says I want to come back to the plays. Boom, Kirby Smart. Because like Nate Oates, when they heard Bediako was able to come back, he jumped at that quick.
Yeah.
And so I feel
because he had a very NBA type of offense. So now, granted, he wanted a post player that wasn't having a great professional career, but he simulated the pros more. My thing is, so some of these kids want to transfer on top of coming back. Okay, so I'm just thinking out loud here. If they're able to come back, and I'm foregoing the thought process that we did yesterday of like this should not be happening in the first place. Let's forego that for a moment and say they do come back and they transfer like in 2 weeks. Okay, like Auburn's got the team bus on the way to Atlanta, and then someone's like, I want to go to Auburn, or whoever. Okay, a day before the game, so they're not going to play that week 1. But you mean to tell me these kids went through 7 months, 6 months, whatever, of workouts or practices or some sort of, grind towards the season, learning playbook, whatever. And then on their end, A, they're going to lose their job to someone coming back to college. And then B, you mean to tell me those guys are going to know what the hell's going on? They're going to know the playbook. They're going to know stuff. Like, if that's true, if they can just kind of come back and like 1 or 2 weeks in, they know everything or appear to know everything, then we really overrate a lot of the off-season learning process.
Yeah.
If they can just waltz back in. Now, it's different if you're coming back to your same school because you should have known what's been going on there from your being on the team. Even Ole Miss, who would change some things shortly with Pete Golding, would not change everything. They're not going to change who they are offensively. Trinidad Chambliss is not about to do a bunch of single back play action passing this season. They're still going to run some hurry up. They're still going to be out of the gun, and they're going to do a bunch of RPO. They should mimic a lot of what they've done under Kiffin. Pete Golding is not going to change the defensive system now that he's the head coach. He might have someone else running that system, but he's not going to be like, hey, let's just do the opposite of what we did. That's not going to happen either. So that's a practical holdup, because in this world, anything's possible. We learn that every day. Things that we thought were ridiculous and crazy can actually come to fruition. If it goes down the road of this happening, then all those questions are, to me, become important. Like what's so glaring a need that you would want to reach out to those guys? And how do you expect them to actually learn half of what the other guys already know?
That would be my biggest question, is the getting on the same page playbook wise. Like, and I know that you can, in the NFL, you can make trades and you can, free agents during the middle of the year and you can pick up the playbook really well. But it's like, so there's, the NFL, it's not like all the offenses are so vastly different. I mean, college, if you're an offensive player, you can go from a spread offense to a pro style offense to a mix to run heavy, whatever. It's there. Every conference has about a dozen different styles of offense and different tweaks to offenses. I mean, it's just it is a jungle out there to learn playbooks. The NFL, you can go in and you can go from, let's say, you can go from the Patriots to
the Broncos.
Yeah, and your offenses aren't going to be vastly different. We're still, here's a few of these plays. Quarterbacks are, kind of the same. Bo Nix and Drake May can move around a little bit. It's not, you're not throwing around these different.
It'll be terminology.
It'll
be a lot of the similar concepts with different terminology. You have to learn different.
But it's like the just in the SEC, Kalen DeBoer is not running the same offense as what Alex Golesh is, and they're not running the same offense as Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo are at Georgia. It's so different in college offenses, and I'm just saying that, pointing out that side of the ball for just for learning purposes. Is you are learning new not just terminology, new schemes, new plays. It's so. And there's sometimes coaches go in the middle of the season and there's like, here's this play we've never run before, but I ran it 12 years ago at my high school that I started out at. I want to put it in here this week. And it's so different in college football.
It is very, very different. It's just interesting. It felt like a matter of time when this was going to happen. That at least the attempt was going to happen. And so I don't know. Some rules have to be set in place. It's just they have to get this figured out, because the fact that you're having players now are like, well, does it look like I'm gonna be making a roster? Let's go back to the one I know. So
yeah,
not great, just not great at all. And I'm sure a lot of these smaller schools are going to be jumping at them and to be like, hey, you want to?
I think it's their best opportunity in a lot of ways, because I don't know the exact budgets, right? We're talking, we know that the big teams, about $40 million rosters this year. I think I saw about 7 teams, maybe 8 that did $40 million. But I know one situation again from the Buccaneers. So Jack Pyburn, because he's one of the 16 initial, I'm a part of this lawsuit, I want to get back in. So Pyburn, who has 2 sacks against the Jets, by the way, in the preseason game. I think he should make the box, basically, or at least over Chris Braswell. Anyway, he signed for like a $10,000 signing bonus, but the money he would make would be guaranteed of like $125,000 if he were to be on the practice squad. So he'd be foregoing $125,000, in other words. So that's, in a way, I don't know the exact, the opportunity cost that they're all going to say, what the agents are going to say. But if you could just beat $125,000 just off financial value, you would make more. Now, again, did you damage your reputation? Are NFL teams going to look at you differently? Because we're not talking about can't miss talents. We're talking about fringe guys. Are the NFL going to blacklist the guys that go back? Like, I could see that happening. NFL people are very proud that, they feel very exclusive, and, if you irritate them, they're not going to stick their neck out unless you going to be really, really good. And most practice squad guys are not going to work themselves up to being really, really good. They might be contributing, but they're not going to be your starters. And so I just wonder, if you are smaller schools, can you get the checks organized and go $250 a pop, $250K a pop? Now, again, some of these guys are better than that at the college level. If Ohio State wants them, they'll throw someone like Pyburn $1 million. You know, like if Pyburn goes back to LSU, I'd imagine Lane will throw $1 million at him. So we're kind of operating under, hey, you'd have to be first, and the other schools have to kind of pass. And then do they say, is it worth it to go to Tulane for $250K when I could be on the practice squad? You know, I'd hope to God the answer would be no, because I don't want to see all of this, return to college once you were done. That's no disrespect to Tulane. I mean, if the smaller schools actually benefit from it, great. But they're not, again, it's wishful thinking. I know I said, oh, I wonder. But I think deep down we know they still won't benefit in a meaningful way. So it just lends itself to, didn't like their offensive line. So they just went and grabbed an offensive lineman real quick. Someone didn't like their safety. Here's a safety for you. It's weird, dude. It's weird. And I think if you want a silver lining on this theoretically should only be a 1 year, one-time thing, because the arguing part from the guys that are currently in NFL training camp, they're saying they didn't get the same opportunity those currently in college are going to get. That's their argument. Well, that would only work for 1 year, because if you are currently in college, even as a senior, you now have 5 to play 5, and you're being grandfathered into that. So even if you are a fourth-year senior right now, you would have the option to play 1 more year. And those guys are arguing that they didn't know that, even though some of them did, because some of them stayed in the portal. Some of them, like we talked about with basketball, Auburn has a version of it with Keyshawn Hall. Like, he got in the portal. I laughed. And now he's going to laugh as he gets some big paycheck from St. John's or Kentucky or whoever. So anyway, this should not be an ongoing struggle, this part. But there's plenty of things that are ongoing struggles, ongoing lawsuits, that sort of thing. This should be yet, I mean, Adam Schefter's freaking out about it. I'm watching him say this is one of the craziest things he's ever seen. Like, it's super weird. I can't tell you what's going to happen here. I don't have a crystal. You need a crystal ball to figure out how many of these guys are actually going to come back to college, if this is going to work or not. Because there's things I can't think of that end up being sued for and becoming new issues on a year-to-year basis. All right, let's take our first time out here of the 4 o'clock hour. When we come back, we are going to air the audio from yesterday of Auburn head football coach Alex Golesh on the team as they progress through fall practice. This is the Thursday edition of Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Want to know how easy it is to listen to our show? All you have to do with your Amazon smart device is say, Alexa, play Sports Call Auburn.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Looking for the best credit card rate in town? The rate on Auburn University Credit Union's MasterCard starts at 7.9% APR. That's right, 7.9% APR. For more information or to apply, visit one of their 3 locations or myaucu.org. Annual percentage rate. Auburn University Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender.
Today, high temperatures will once again be into the mid-90s, but we'll see a higher coverage area of shower and thunderstorm development. Around 40 to 50% of the area could see some much-needed rain. Lows will be in the low 70s overnight. Friday, high temperatures not quite as hot, as we'll see low 90s across the area, as many places do once again see the threat of a shower or thunderstorm developing. About half of the area can expect to see some rain, with lows dropping to around 70. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update.
On Saturdays, we all wear orange and blue, but every day, Auburn University Credit Union is proud to serve the people who make this community strong. Whether you're opening your first account, buying your first car, planning for your future, or growing your business, we're here for every chapter, because at Auburn University Credit Union, you're more than a customer. You're a member. You're an owner. Your family. Auburn University Credit Union, rooted in Auburn, committed to you. To learn more, visit myaucu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender. NMLS number 530633.
From the very beginning in 1907, Auburn Bank's mission has been to promote our community, see businesses flourish, and improve the livelihoods of local citizens. We have operated a simple and straightforward business model built on a foundation of sound business decisions and a caring response. Our local team stands ready to discuss your financial needs and goals. Auburn Bank, champions of you. Member FDIC. Online at auburnbank.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brandon Maxwell with Fairway Auto Brokers. Back to school deals are here and you deserve a new ride. With over 150 of the finest pre-owned vehicles in stock, we make car buying fun and easy for the whole family. As Lee County's #1 place to buy a pre-owned vehicle, come see why Fairway is the difference. Visit us at www.fab-auto.com or stop by today at 1777 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Alabama.
You remember the burgers, you remember the buns, you even remember the ice, but you forgot the beer? Rookie mistake. Save the cookout by showing up with Blue Moon Belgian White. Its crisp, refreshing taste with Valencia orange peel and that iconic orange garnish turns an oops into an awesome. Because when the beer's this good, people tend to forget what you forgot in the first place. Blue Moon Belgian White, made brighter. Please enjoy responsibly.
Looking for the perfect lunch or dinner? Make it easy and delicious with Honey Baked Ham. Enjoy savory crafted sandwiches like the Ham Classic, Barbecue Smoked Stacker, or the Tavern Club, as well as a variety of fresh, crisp, delicious salads. Every bite is a taste of quality at Honey Baked Ham Company. Whether it's a leisurely lunch or something quick for dinner, Honey Baked Ham has you covered. Stop by the Honey Baked Ham Company and get your ham on. Honey Baked Ham, located at 1451 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Ham bone, ham bone, ham bone! Ham bone!
TK's Convenience Stores, your gotta-have headquarters. You know, those things you just gotta have, but don't have time to waste in one of those huge pack stores. Nope, at TK's, we have your gotta-have items with no hassle, along with great customer service, high-quality items, and clean stores. So whether you need a six-pack of your favorite beverage, milk, gasoline, or some cash from the ATM, TK's has it just minutes from you. TK's Convenience Stores, now with 17 locations to better serve you. Always there when you need us.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
This is Andy Burcham, voice of the Auburn Tigers, and you're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
All right, so scrimmage 2, we went right around 100 plays total, so a little bit less than the last one. We've got an off day tomorrow going into 2 more days of camp. And then Saturday will be a big day for us. We've got parents cookout, which will be a cool deal for our guys to see their families for the first time in a while. And we've got an alumni cookout going on at the same time. So we got about 200 former players coming back. Jairus has done a great job with getting those guys back, and I'm excited to see them. We've got some situational stuff to work through on Friday, and then really a big conglomerate practice on Saturday. That'll be a ton of situations, essentially to get us ready to go into a mock game week. Then we'll go into a mock game week next week, essentially go through which will be the first time that they do that, and then that'll lead into a normal game week leading up to Baylor. So we got 2 more days of working on us before we turn the page. Today, some really, really good stuff came out of today on both sides. Tackled so much better. Man, I was really proud of the way we tackled. There was some violent intent defensively. Some really good situations came up. Worked a lot of substitutional stuff. Worked, even just something as simple as taking the field after a kickoff today, which there was some teaching there. Offensively, some explosives. Some long drives, which was good for both sides to work, especially in the heat the way it was. I think until you get into, and I'm talking offensive football here, until you get into it with truly coaches off the field and long drives, and what does that really feel like to go 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 plays in a drive at the tempo that we play. There's nothing like actually doing it. You could try to replicate it all you want, but there's nothing like doing it. And I thought there was some really, really positive there. I left really impressed with some individual performances today with Dallas Walker, who has maybe been as consistent as anybody defensively for us. Man, what a blessing that he got the year back, and he's become a leader. He doesn't say a whole lot, but become a leader. I'm beyond proud of him. Deshaun Womack today I thought was really impressive. Jared Smith today was really impressive. Eric Winters today was really, really impressive. We got Caleb Harris back this week, which was huge. We got New Boy back this week, which was huge. Both those guys played well. I thought we played well at corner today, and did some really good things offensively. I thought Byram was super steady. Keyshawn Singleton continued to be super steady. Chaz Nimrod today was really, really solid. Protected well for the most part. So I thought there was some positive. Where we're not very good right now, really on both sides, is truly recognizing situational football and the guys taking control of it. And what I mean by that is just simply understanding where it is rather than just playing the next play, but where are we? What's the situation? What are we trying to do? And that takes time. That takes the play callers being on the same page with the guys. And that's why I say we still need 2 more days of us working on us to get closer to that. I think the biggest thing, and I said this to the staff last night, the biggest thing I'm proud of is how much this team has come together. And some of it was forced early, but these guys genuinely care and respect each other. They care about each other. And I've tried to create as crazy of adverse situations for them to have to fight through, and they just keep coming together. I'm incredibly proud of them. What I'm not super happy with right now is just purely the situational football execution and even the recognition of it. And a lot of that comes with being a young football team. And we are super, super young in some key spots. And so that's, again, the emphasis the next 2 days. I do believe the intent is getting close to right. I do believe the physicality is getting close to right. And we will see where we are here in a couple of weeks. But health-wise, we held a couple of guys out today. We got, I think Taylor told me, the J.J. Falk that got out. I can't fathom how something would get out here, but he had surgery today. The hope is that towards the end of the season, end of November, December, we would have him. So as of right now, would be out for the regular season. which stinks. But feel for him, and he's worked hard to put himself in a position to play. Other than that, in terms of anything serious, there isn't. We'll be, other than what we've already announced, we'll be at full strength come Friday. So we'll be in a really, really good spot. Everybody that was 100% scrimmage today. We moved some 2s up to some 1s at the end of the scrimmage just to get some reps. Tristan took 1 reps today. Locke and Reese took 2 reps offensively, which was good with the 1 and 2 O-lines. Other than that, I'll open it up to questions.
Alex, Nathan King, Auburn 247. We saw Bryce Kane working with the DBs at practice yesterday. Is that a move that you expect to be permanent for him? And I guess just kind of what went into that decision?
Yeah, Bryce has got a really, really good skill set, starting with the fact that he can run and really, really fast. So he's done a really good job as a returner for us. He's kind of in a deeper slot room where we're not super deep at corner, and we wanted to try and see it here this last week at camp. Give Bryce a ton of credit. He's like, yes, sir, and has done a really good job. He's still learning. He's still figuring it out, but he can run. He's a physical kid. So we're going to give him a couple days there and then ultimately find he's going to play for us. We're excited about him. He's made a ton of strides, but if we're healthy at receiver, then we felt like that was the fastest way for him to get on the field. And that doesn't mean he can't come back. Right now, what we've told him is he's got a chance to play both, and we're going to continue to bring him along. Unselfish, though, man. Like, really, really unselfish young man.
Justin Ferguson, Auburn Observer. Alex, you mentioned Keyshawn having a good day at scrimmage. We heard about him having a good day the last scrimmage. You challenged him earlier this offseason to kind of be more consistent, be more mature. How have you seen him kind of step up in that way, and just how is he performing heading into the season?
Yeah, Justin. Keyshawn, I've known Keyshawn for so long. He's grown up so much. And for him, when his off the field process is right, he could be as special as there is in the country, and he has. It's been just being fully committed to the process, and it's not like there's nothing malicious. It's just it's always come so natural to him, and so learning what it is every single day, how you take care of your body, how you study film, how much sleep you get, all of that, like just everything that goes into being an elite football player. And it's all come together for him this summer. And so proud of him. The challenge for him, as I tell him literally every morning, is can you do it every single day? And he is playing at a high level. He's playing really confident. This entire team believes in him. So I'm really proud of him, but that's a day-to-day deal that he's got to continue to go. And like I said, there's never been anything malicious. He's an incredible teammate and loves football. It's just everything else that goes into it, he's learning and growing. And, it's all come together for him. He's a young man that being in the hotel for a couple of weeks where there's nothing else going on. I make the joke about the dog and the cat. Like, my guy got a dog and a cat. Like, he walking at 3 a.m, like, chill with the dog, chill with the cat, and just play football. And so there was no dogs or cats. Here you go. Keyshawn's playing at a high level. So we'll see. Well, I might take the dog. I'm allergic to cats, but I may take the dog. Cats are self-sufficient.
Brett Pritchard, Auburn Blitz coach. Outside of X and Elijah, who stood out in that linebacker room? How have they performed so far in fall?
Yeah, Brett, I would tell you Bryce Dees. And Bryce, sometimes think we've done him a disservice a little bit just because he's playing literally all 3 spots. And he's so intelligent that he's handled it well. As we finish up camp here, he's going to kind of settle in. But he is a young guy that, man, you talk about played some as a freshman, took a step this spring. He's gotten his body right, super intelligent, physical. His best days are, when I say ahead of him here, hopefully in 18 days. He's had a really, really, really good camp, and we feel really good with him. DeMarcus Riddick continues to get back. He's taken a ton of reps. He's another one that we've played at every spot. And Dirk, for him to have position flexibility is really, really big. And so DeMarcus is coming. Like every day you see him more and more comfortable. When you miss as much time as he has, it's just a matter of getting back in it. He's such a phenomenal athlete and also highly intelligent. I've been really, really happy with those guys. You know, Matthews Canty has he had a really good spring, had just an okay first 2 blocks of camp, and this week has been really, really good. It's taken some reps with the 2s, it's taken some reps with the 1s. You know, and here's a young man that was an FCS transfer that honestly we took for depth, and he's shown he can play. And he's had his best week, which is what you want as you go. So really, really happy with him. Those 2 freshmen are coming along. You know, Tootle, I think, gives us a chance on special teams a little bit. Goon is still coming along and learning. It's happening fast for him, but he'll be a really good player here as well. But that's kind of where we are.
You mentioned corners playing well, and I know you're looking for a little depth. Who stood out, and how many do you feel like you trust right now?
Yeah, Bill. You know, Dre has been steady since the spring. The challenge to him has been to be more physical. Man, he's had a really, really good last 2 weeks. He's confident. He's playing fast. He can roll, and he's become more physical. And you know, that's such a confidence position that it's taken him a second. You come into this league and you're playing against really good receivers there, and he's been super, super steady. Been proud of his last 2 weeks. Rayshawn Pleasant continues to just get better. You know, he's a young guy that played some last year, that has played a ton of college football, but it was just a matter of settling in, and I've been really, really proud of him here this last week as well. He's settled in. Gavin Jenkins has had a really good camp. Scrap Richardson's had a really good camp. You know, Shamar, our new, missed the first really week and a half of camp. He had an appendicitis 3 weeks out from camp. So just him getting back into it, he continues to learn what it is to play at this level. He's got a skill set that's really special. He's got to get life continued to get figured out. But he is slowly but surely figuring it out. And he's a really good football player. Like you said, we moved Bryce over there to give us some depth and flexibility. But man, you would love to have 5 ready to rock and roll. Blake Woodby has played a bunch for us at nickel, has played some corner. We've, I talked about the linebackers, a little bit of disservice. I think we're trying to make sure that we've got guys that could play all 5 back there and big picture. So I think long-term it'll help Blake that he's played everywhere. We've repped Champ there a bunch, and Champ is a guy that creates a ton of position flexibility for us. We rep New Boy there in the spring. He was out at the beginning of camp. He's been back this week. He'll continue to rep over there too. I'm giving you a bunch of names because I think we're still trying to figure out truly who are the best 5, and then ultimately who are the next 5 behind them. And we've got some options. It's just a matter of we need the next 2 days to rep some New Boy there, rep Champ a little bit more out there as well. But we're getting closer to having some depth there.
Peter Ryder, Caseo.com. You mentioned a handful of guys, D linemen and edge rushers, and you're talking about individual performances. I guess what stood out about that group as a whole today?
You're talking about the edges, Peter, or the whole front?
The whole front.
And I think today there were some unique situations. There was we had a coming out situation on the 1 that was really good to see with big personnel get heavy. We had a 4-minute drill that was really good to see. Situations where you got to bow up, and it's been kind of similar in the sense of trying to figure out who our best 4 are and then who the next 4 are, because you're going to need a big rotation. Like I said, it's been a big challenge to guys like Malik and Jordan who are young that we need to grow up here really quickly. So we've pushed those guys like Cody Sigler have forced those guys to grow up. Buddy Mathis has continued to get better and better. There's a handful of those guys, like St. Ferrier has been super inconsistent. When he's good, he's really good. When it's not, it's not. So we're continuing to push those guys. I think there's depth. And I think the last thing you want to see out of really that whole crew, and this offense forces you now to, like, you figure out if you're about that life or not, because you got to go through, there's going to be situations where you can't sub. And you saw some of that today where guys have had to push through. And that's why I pointed out, like, a Womack who just, he's playing his best football right now. A Jared Smith, who the challenge has been, man, on play 8 and 9 of a drive, what do you look like? And I thought today he looked the part. And it's really that whole group. I keep trying to explain to them that it'll be easier in a game when you can catch your breath a little bit. But we've pushed them, and Montrell has done a really good job. Hutz has done a really good job of not lowering any sort of standard just because you're playing a tempo offense.
Coach Tyler Rayleigh, Auburn Undercover. Jared Smith talked to us yesterday about his urgency over the course of the offseason, how he's been trying to improve on that. Bouncing off your comments that you just said about Smith, how has he improved in that urgency factor, and what has he done to elevate his aggression over the course of this offseason?
Yeah, the word urgency would not have been synonymous with Jared about, 4 days ago. So I would say it's more of what we've done in terms of we just keep yelling at him. And today he was like, man, if I am more urgent, then they won't yell at me so much. And so we'll just keep yelling at him until he figures it out. But he's a young guy that's uber talented and is just learning. Man, he's young, which is the last excuse anybody would ever want to use. So it's just learning how to play hard all the time. And it has nothing to do with not wanting to. It has everything to do with having a sense of urgency in between plays, having a sense of urgency when a play is over to get back up and lined up. And it's just learning. It takes time. It's a physical deal, and he's grown in his physicality. He's grown as a complete defensive lineman, more so than just a pass rusher. I spend every morning reminding him that he's a pass rusher. He said, "Nah, coach, I play D-line." So he's getting there from a mindset standpoint, but he's a young guy you love to yell at.
Alex, Justin Hoganson, Auburn on 3. I'm curious, like a broader question. It's a new collection of talent here, but in terms of individually, you have a lot of guys that have played FBS snaps. I mean, a lot of snaps. I'm curious if that's shown up in on the field, off the field preparation. Like, I mean, are your expectations, like, where does that align? Or you feel like they're where they need to be despite being a new team? It's a bunch of guys who've played a bunch of football, and is that showing up so far?
In some ways, Justin, here's what's really, really hard in today's college football, and I'm not trying to get overly philosophical here. The whole game is we have talent, and the reason why teams win, certainly you can have a giant talent gap, but the reason why teams win is because they're focused. And that's focused certainly play to play, down, series to series, quarter to quarter, but focused throughout a week. And that's the hardest thing to do. As much as experience from a football side matters, the game of football is just 11 one-on-one matchups, and certainly scheme matters and things you do in terms of blocking, tackling, all of that matters. But the ability to focus in today's college football is the name of the game. Like, can you get a group of young men, 18 to 20, whatever, to worry about the team, their process, and everything that goes into preparing for a game? Us as adults can't stay focused sometimes without staring at our phones and scrolling Instagram and things that don't matter. We're trying to get 18 to 23-year-olds to do it, and that to me is where the maturity of experience comes from, if that makes sense. Where playing snaps. And I don't care if it's FBS, FCS, like playing college football snaps matters. Seeing different concepts come at you over and over again certainly matters. But it's the ability to lock in and stay focused. And that's the hardest thing, at least in my experience, when you add media, you add parents, you add agents, you add money. like all of it, right? Like and then you say, man, like block everything out and just worry about this. Like you guys can't do that. Like we as adults struggle to do. I can do that just because I can lock my door and nobody can bother me, you know. But like that's really, really hard to do, and it takes a level of maturity, it takes a level of grit, it takes a level of commitment, it takes a level of sacrifice, and ultimately you recruit your own problems. But that's like the hardest thing to figure out. And ultimately, does the young man love football more than he loves everything that football gives him? And that's the challenge. And so the experience, like I look at experience as, has he gone through the shit to get to the other side of it, to figure out what's actually important? And that's why I started this whole thing with, man, like we have come together as a team. I'm proud of how we have come together as a team. We've gone through some adverse situations, but we haven't gone into a game yet. And so there are guys that have played ball. It's so hard to see, to try to gauge how they respond when it's actually on the line, you know. And I've hammered home this fourth quarter thing, and I've hammered home starting out fast. But like, I don't play. If I played, we'd suck. You know what I mean? And so like, it's these guys understanding what it really looks like, and we're teaching it at a high clip. We got elite coaches that is all that they preach as their day-to-day process. And that's the maturity that right now, I don't know that we actually are there yet. And that comes honestly in a lot of ways with leadership, and when it's demanded by their own teammates and where they're held accountable by their own teammates. And that's the part, if I stay up at night about anything besides like a 2-minute drill, like that's what I stay up at night about worrying is, can we lead ourselves enough from within the locker room right now to go play a season the way we need to? And I don't know that we're there.
Alex, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. Just wanted to ask you about. There you go.
Progress.
Just want to
growth,
ask
maturity.
Yes, that's right. Well, it was a slow start to camp, but I'm getting to go now. Right. So edge position with JJ out, how do you look at the depth there? Who would be 3, 4, and 5, sort of? And is Darian Smith getting any looks there?
Yeah. The one name I hadn't mentioned, and really it's on me, is CK Murray. Man, he missed the first week and a half of camp, and we've slowly brought him back in. He's been phenomenal here the last week, and we've eased him in, just simply trying to make sure he's 100%, and he is 100% now. I've been really, really excited about CK. He brings a maturity. He brings some veteranness there, and he's been steady, and he's competing to be one of the two. And these next 2 days are really, really big for him. You asked about Darian. Darian's played inside and outside for us, and he's packaged up. He's done a really good job from a pass rush standpoint. He's grown as a run stopper. So he's in the mix. He's learned, and we've really cross-trained a bunch of those guys. Cody Sigler is cross-trained, again, ultimately to try to get our best 4 out there. But, Nate Johnson he's a guy that has been super, super steady for us at the end spot. He's competing like crazy to play a bunch. So I feel like we've got 5 there that we can lean on heavy, with Cody and Darian giving you a bunch of flexibility in there.
It's Nathan King, Auburn 247. What's your evaluation of where Bryson is right now? I know you mentioned last scrimmage he got some reps with the ones. He's a guy y'all have really challenged. Where is that running back rotation out right now?
Yeah, we were really smart with Cobb today. I feel like he's at a point now where, not that he's arrived by any means, but he's taken a ton of reps, and he's grown. And I know you asked about Bryson, but just for context sake, he's become more physical. I've told Jeremiah every day, like, man, it's good that you're a speed back. We're looking for a big back, and he starts foaming at the mouth. So he's grown tremendously there, which today and Cobb took a handful of snaps today, but we really pushed Omar and Bryson with that first group today. I thought both did a really, really good job. Omar's had a really good camp. Bryson the last week has shown why he's been able to do what he's done for the last couple of years, and he's taken steps. For Bryson, it's I talked about the long drives today. Like, he needed that worse than anybody, and it was good for him to push through that. He's taken big steps. I'm not going to tell you I'm proud of him yet. I'm going to keep ripping his ass, but he's come a long way. Hopefully, no, I was just going to say, hopefully that answers your question. Nakai has missed the last 4 days with a little soft tissue deal. He'll be back on Friday. He could have gone today. We kind of held him out, but looking to see if he can get into that rotation too. Before he got banged up a little bit, he was in the conversation there as well. We've repped Alvin Henderson a bunch today with the twos. Christian Burnett, you're looking for a name, somebody looking to do a story. He's had a really, really good camp for us. He'll play on special teams for us, and he's earned time in the backfield as well.
Justin Ferguson, Auburn Observer. You were talking about last week with the offensive line, how you wanted to get closer to maybe finding that 5 or 6, 7, or 8. Just how much closer do you feel like that after today and the second scrimmage?
Yeah, we're closer. We've challenged that group in so many ways. We're closer. I know we've talked about Jacob Strand, has continued to fight to get himself into that 5. He has shown some position flexibility there where I think he's going to find his way in there. Just the toughness and the intelligence. He's stood out really this entire camp. So I've been proud of him. We're continuing to push Plaz in that inside rotation. McManus, we're continuing to push in that inside rotation. We've moved Cale Ellis around a little bit to try to get him to push in that rotation, and Jacoby Ward in there to push in that rotation. The tackle piece, Stanton scrimmaged the whole scrimmage today again, which was really, really good to see. Joe scrimmaged the whole scrimmage at tackle today, which was good to see. Wilson Zier has taken some steps. Pritchard's taken some steps. But we're still, I think, leaving today. It'll be good to see the film, but trying to figure out who the 3 and the 4 are at tackle, and then what is that real interior look like. I think we're closer. I think we're closer to having 8 that we feel good about. But we need the next couple of days as well to truly solidify it here going into next week.
So that is Auburn head football coach Alex Golesh. Again, that was yesterday after another scrimmage, as the Tigers do have the day off today. But a lot of stuff in there, obviously, from Coach Golesh, as Auburn now gets. I mean, they're about the midway point from when they started fall practice to them actually taking the football field against Baylor. One thing that stood out to me is he was not pleased with the situational football. He mentioned that kind of early on, and he said some of that's being a young team, but some of that's got to. Again, you got to start to gain the understanding of those situations. And that also brought back to mind, Jack, that last several years, honestly, one of the situations Auburn would find itself in is they've blown X lead to X team. They now have a 2-minute drill at the end of the game. And Auburn ran some of the most ineffective 2-minute offenses. I mean, they did not even scare the 50-yard line on some of these 2-minute drill possessions. So, to be fair to Coach Golesh, almost anything would be better than that situational part of situational football.
Yeah, a drive with 3 first downs, I think, deserves a banner at that point. The way that offense looked last year, it just, I've always said it, and I've said to you guys, it just looked painful. It looked awful to try to attempt at a first down. Play calling was just so odd. It got better after someone left, let's just be honest, because then it was very clear who was calling plays after that, because then you got to see Nix, and his play calling, I think, was a lot more efficient. The offense started clicking a little bit more. Still wasn't fantastic, but it was doing a lot better. It seemed like it had a vision and it was working. So I think, as you mentioned, anything really Golesh does is, it seems like as he sets in his vision for the offense, should work. Everything seems like it's going to click. He's got the guys too that know the system, that know how plays are ran, and so it should be a smooth, I think, transition to this new offensive scheme this next year.
There was never a point last year, and I said this before.
Yeah, there was never a point. It felt like
no, I mean there was only 3 versus Kentucky. There was we said this earlier when we, I think it was about a month ago when we went through there was a segment we did on the show where we talked about what we wanted to see from this Auburn team this year and being growth and everything. And I brought this up about the situational football. There was never a point in games last year that Auburn was close, that they needed a game-winning drive, that they walked down the field and I was confident they could go down there and get a field goal.
Yeah.
Attempt get into a field goal range. There was never a point where I said, this is it. Like they got it. Come on. And I feel like the 80-something thousand Auburn fans that were in the stadium and the, thousands more watching at home felt the same way.
The most confident drive Auburn had in a late game 2-minute situation, I would argue in years, like multiple years down late, was the Cam Coleman fumble drive in the Iron Bowl. Like they had actually moved it down to around the red zone and then they fumbled. But everything else was like, hey, here's Jackson Arnold getting sacked. Oh yeah, remember Peyton Thorne? He was getting sacked. I mean, it was sack after sack and not being able to move the football. So the situation football, it's interesting to hear Alex Scholar say they're behind, but also it's another area we do expect to get far better just by being average this season. All right, we're out of time for hour number 2 of the program. Coming up in hour number 3, we are on to the Texas Longhorns. We have 2 SEC teams remaining to preview. Georgia tomorrow, but Texas today. We'll do that next. This is the Thursday edition of Sports Call on Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, the Tiger Communications app, and streaming live on Facebook and YouTube.
2 hours of Sports Call are finished. Don't touch that radio dial. We've got 1 more hour to go.
This fall, tune into savings at Jimmy's Car Stereo. With crisp autumn air and cozy drives ahead, make your rides even better with our top-of-the-line car stereos and accessories. From boom and bass to crystal clear sound, Jimmy's has the perfect upgrade to make your vehicle the ultimate fall soundtrack. Plus, make sure your football tailgate playlist is the best sounding on the plains with a new system from Jimmy's. Visit Jimmy's Car Stereo today at 908 Opelika Road in Auburn or online at jimmyscarstereo.com. Jimmy's Car Stereo, serving the community for over 30 years.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
It's a new day in Beauregard, and Tiger 95.9 is your home for all the action. Hey, folks, this is Tim Sin, voice of the Beauregard Hornets, inviting you to tune in all season long for all the action from this new-look team. Listen every game day starting 30 minutes before kickoff for complete coverage of Hornet football from the entire broadcast crew. This week, we opened the Seneric McCurdy era with a battle against a top 10 Reeltown Rebel squad. Listen wherever you go with the free Tiger Communications app. It's another year of Hornet football live on Tiger 95.9. You don't want to miss it. Brought to you by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Jeffco Trent Funeral Home, The Potting Shed Garden Shop, United Auto Collision, Waldo's Chicken, and Coca-Cola.
Looking for great deals while supporting a great cause? Visit Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store, conveniently located on East University behind Zaxby's. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 until 5 with a huge selection of furniture, clothing for the whole family, books, home decor, and so much more. Have items to donate? We'll gladly accept donations at the back of the store from 10 until 4. Shop, donate, and make a difference at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store, where every purchase helps change lives.
Pull up a chair, Braves country, because your Atlanta Braves are ready to play ball on the Braves Radio Network.
Michael Harris gets good wood on it, rising back to the chop house, taking flight and out of here.
This afternoon, Austin Riley and the Braves make a quick stop on the south side of Chicago for a makeup game against the Chicago White Sox.
Braves baseball on AM 1230 WAUD, East Alabama's sports station.
It's heating up at Sons Ford in Auburn with the hottest sale of the year. Now's the time to save big on a huge selection of new Ford trucks, SUVs, and cars. Whether you're looking for a rugged F-150, a family-friendly Explorer, or a fuel-efficient Escape, you'll find incredible deals waiting for you. Don't let these summer savings pass you by. Visit Sons Ford in Auburn today or shop online at sonsford.com and pick the Ford you've been wanting at a price you'll love. Sons Ford in Auburn, where the hottest deals of the year are happening now.
Every day we power homes and businesses in our communities, but we also power something else. Bright futures for our youth. We visit classrooms to speak on topics ranging from career opportunities to leadership skills. And we help make college possible by providing scholarships to deserving students. Bright futures are ahead, and we help make it happen. Brought to you by Tallapoosa River Electric Cooperative.
The most in-depth coverage of your favorite high school football team is on Tiger 95.9. Listen to the High School Coaches Show live from Waldo's Chicken on Tiger 95.9 each Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Join me, Brooks Childress, and the rest of the crew as we sit down with all the local high school coaches to go in-depth with their teams. Join us live on location at Waldo's Chicken in Auburn, or order their delicious food to go and listen to the show online at tiger.fm or on the free Tiger Communications app. It's the High School Coaches Show live from Waldo's Chicken Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. on Tiger 95.9. Brought to you by Waldo's Chicken, May Refrigeration, Kim Drive, East Alabama, Auburn University Credit Union, Fairway Auto Brokers, and Southern Union State Community College.
Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory is here for you when you need us. With locations in Lee, Chambers, and Tallapoosa counties, serving the people of East Alabama and West Georgia since 1900. A family-owned and operated business, skip the hassle of the big corporate mortuaries. Our kind, compassionate team members are standing by to assist your family in the hardest of times. An on-site crematory, private cemetery, and a choice of facilities makes Frederick Dean unique. Visit us at frederickdean.com.
At Mid-South Bank, our banking philosophy is family comes first. You see, we're more than a safe place to put your money or get a loan. We're a place for you to put your trust. No matter what your financial needs, you'll come first every step of the way. Come in today at 519 East Glen Avenue or visit bankmidsouth.com to find out what the friendliest, most helpful bank in town can do for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Let me tell you about the Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite. It's bright, it's bubbly, it's back.
The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich, it's so rich, and you can choose between the original or the spicy filet.
Ooh, boy.
And then you got those pickled jalapenos tucked right under the filet, and then just to top it all off, you've got a little honey drizzle right on top.
Okay, now I'm a pimento fan.
And I'm feeling the dragon fruit.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn.
This is the Tiger Communications Sports Report brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. I'm Brooks Childress. Back in April, Auburn men's tennis signed Swedish talent Patrick Munkhammer, who joined the Tigers this month for the 2026-2027 season. Munkhammer held an ITF singles ranking of 298 at the time of signing and reached a career-high ATP singles ranking of number 1259 in February. He also held a career-high ATP doubles rankings of number 1847, which was also achieved in February. Munkhammer is the top-ranked junior player in Sweden in both singles and doubles, ranked number 30 nationally in singles and number 33 in doubles. Auburn men's basketball fell a seed line in the latest projections from ESPN's bracketology ahead of the 2026-2027 season. The Tigers find themselves sitting as a 9 seed in the latest projections. The predictions follow a successful trip for the Tigers overseas to Greece, where they faced off with several opponents. Auburn is joined on the 9 seed line with Providence, Wisconsin, and Missouri. The Tigers are also one one of 12 teams from the SEC to be projected into the new expanded NCAA tournament field that is tied for the most bids along with the Big Ten. And Auburn football linebacker Xavier Atkins has earned a nod to the AP preseason All-American list. Atkins joins a long list of Tigers who have been honored on the preseason list throughout the history of the program. Atkins is one of 8 players from the SEC to be included on the defensive side of the ball on the list and one of 14 overall on the list. I'm Brooke Shoulders, this is the Maritime Communications Sports Report brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union.
Auburn University Credit Union has partnered with Care Humane Society for the AUCU CARES debit card. It's free to you, and each time you swipe the card, AUCU makes a donation on your behalf. It's a win-win. For more information, visit myaucu.org. AUCU is federally insured by the NCUA and an equal opportunity lender.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn. Whether you're leaving work, cruising around town, or listening on demand, we've still got some fun left for you. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show has been on the air since 1995 and is ready for 60 more minutes of fun. Now, let's get this hour of Sports Call started.
Third and final hour of Sports Call beginning right now. Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. My name is Ryan Lavoie, and host of the program with Jack Myrick and Brooks Childress. Today, we also got Connor Knight running the production side of things for us on our stream with our YouTube and Facebook at Sports Call Auburn. Again, you can watch the program. And, of course, all the ways to listen live, audio only with Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, the Tiger Communications app. And, of course, you can listen after the fact on the Sports Call podcast presented by Coca-Cola. We get into the third and final hour today by looking at the Texas Longhorns. They were preseason number 2 in the SEC media poll. Of course, that means we'll be on to number 1 tomorrow, which will be Georgia. For the Longhorns, again, I don't think you can find a larger set of expectations. They may not be preseason number 1, but again, the expectations sky high in Austin. They've got one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive teams in the country. Last season, 10-3. It was a 9-3 regular season. They did beat Michigan in the Citrus Bowl. But the Longhorns, after being preseason number 1, they don't make the playoff. And again, it's in a vacuum, a program that has won 10 games or more, 3 straight seasons, that in 2024 did go to the college football playoff semifinal. 2025 is able to still win 10 games. These 2023, the year that they played Washington in the semifinal, last year, the 4-team playoff. Then 2024 winning a couple playoff games before ultimately bowing out to Ohio State in the semis. And then 2025 having the 10-win season, but again, 9 in the regular season. In a vacuum, that's a really quality 3 years. That's multiple playoff victories, multiple playoff appearances, no bad seasons. But it's Texas. It's a lot of money, and they have a lot of talent and a lot of expectations.
We went into last season saying, this is obviously a really good Texas squad. And, looking at them, and, I know last year preseason, the hype around Arch Manning and what this team was going to be able to do last year and everything with all the weapons they had last year. And we actively watched the Heisman campaign for Arch Manning disintegrate in week number 1. And, there was a point in the midseason that that he had started to, get things back on track. And, the discourse started again where it's like, oh, is he going to work his way back into, Heisman race, and then no, he didn't.
The Kentucky game, man, they had 179 yards of offense.
It
So
was
about Kentucky last year, who still only won 4 games, but exposed some offenses that did not live up to expectations.
It was rough, but you look at last year, it was definitely not up to what their standards were, and what you would think. Now, I'll tell you what. You go back a few years before Sarkisian got there. You say Texas finishes the year with 3 losses. There's a lot of Texas fans that are jumping for joy. But the fact that not even you don't even look at this year's roster. The fact that last year's roster was so was such a felt like a really good roster too. That preseason number 1, you were expecting in back-to-back playoff appearances. You were expecting, and Texas fans were expecting to be back in that conversation, be back playing and deep in the playoffs. And I'll tell you what, I'm sure a lot of them, with being preseason number 1, most of them expected to be playing for a national championship last year. Finally getting to that point where you could officially, I know everybody says it, but officially say Texas is back because we're in a national championship game. I mean, everybody from Quinn Ewers to who was the quarterback before Quinn Ewers? There was a couple, but he was
Etling.
Yeah, no, not Etling. Oh man, he was there in the late.
Sam Ellinger.
Yep, Sam Ellinger. That's right. He was the one that went out there and said, "We're back" at the Sugar Bowl after they beat Georgia, and it was like, yeah, great. You're not yet, but this is a team that you look at right now. That if this is not the team that officially puts Texas back, you got to wonder if it's gonna happen ever again. Especially under Steve Sarkisian. And because you've gotten an offensive guru, you've gotten every single dollar, it feels like, in the western half of the United States into this program, and you've got so much talent from just the you quarterback position. You've got a Manning at quarterback position. I know it's jury is still out on what he will ultimately become, but just the last name, that lineage. There's already high expectations. The running back room is phenomenal. The wide receiver room is phenomenal. The offensive line is a huge plus. And then on the other side of the ball, you've got some playmakers on defense. And people forget. I forgot until like a week and a half ago. Will Muschamp's now the defensive coordinator. And if there's something he can do, it's not head coaching; it's defensive coordinating. He can put together a defense. If there's not a team, if this is not the Texas team to get them a national championship, my gosh, I don't know which one is.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him. I really like to compare this to Ryan Day. The year he won his national championship there was a lot of pressure on him. I think the most he had, obviously, looking at it, still crazy to think, the conversation around him being on a hot seat, but he was, because they were losing to Michigan. Michigan was then winning titles, which applies even more pressure to you, because if your rival's not only just beating you and they're winning titles and you're also in that competition for a title, it's not great. And so that year they did lose to Michigan, but then they would go on to win the national title. And it kind of has a very similar vibe to that. Like Sarkisian, he's got to get it done. He's got to, you have all this talent, so much money spent on the roster. I also saw today that they're like the highest ticket in college football right now to get in. There's so much revenue being driven into this program. So it's like, you got to get it done. You have to get it done, especially when you have these expectations around Arch. You bring in a very talented wide receiver in Cam Coleman. The defense has been very, stout. Now you add, Will Muschamp to that defensive staff, who, last was with Georgia as a defensive assistant, helping out with those great defenses that you saw win national titles. So it's a lot of, expectations built on this team. The pressure keeps building. There's a lot on those shoulders. I still, I had a little bit more faith, I think, in Ohio State with Ryan Day with that comparison. But with this Texas team, I think they have a lot of talent. I just still don't know if they can get over the hump. I just haven't seen from Sarkisian when it comes to a game where he's really, I guess, flexed, on a team, really shown that they can move the ball downfield, really just control the game at will. Like we've seen that honestly now, because for a while we hadn't seen that in Lane Kiffin. We finally kind of saw it in his games against Kirby. We saw, some of those games, obviously, from Kirby Smart, as mentioned. We've seen it from other head coaches around the league, but not him as much. It's just he hasn't, he's done it to, Venerables at Oklahoma, but still, they have had years that are rough. They've had years that, where the quarterback was a question. Last year, they dealt with injuries on the team still and still managed to get into the playoffs. So it's like what has Sarkisian, done for me lately? I get it. He's gotten into the playoffs, but when you're a team of this caliber, you have to do more than just being like, hey, we went to the dance.
Yeah.
No, you got to do more.
Sometimes you got to be the king of the dance.
Yeah. You got to bring home the crown.
When you buy yourself the robe and you buy yourself the friends,
yeah,
at some point you need to go and take the crown, as you said. And I think that Texas has no excuses, because even with the schedule, okay, as Ohio State proved the year they did get the monkey off their back, or the monkey off Ryan Day's back, they came in with 2 losses. They were the 8 seed.
Mm-hmm.
They were not some fireball team that perfected the regular season. So Texas, you can say, oh my gosh, Ohio State and all the games are going to play in the SEC. Okay, fine. Survive it. Go 10-2. I guarantee you the folks in Austin would rather you go to a national championship game than to win the SEC championship game. They're not going to be enamored with that. Yes, of course, there is some, we're coming from the Big 12 a couple of years ago, we're going to run the SEC type of thing. Well, Georgia's already beat them into submission. Yeah. Okay, they don't, with a backup quarterback that year. That battle, that little battle has been lost. Okay, they didn't come in and take the SEC by storm. But it's about winning the whole thing this year. And you know what I mentioned with Tom in recent days, because when they get to that Oklahoma game on October 10th, both Oklahoma and Texas will already be really battle tested. Like there's already a lot of roads either program could be going down. Okay. If Texas has the really bad year this year, okay, just imagine for a second that they're already 4 losses in by Halloween. And I don't want to go through the schedule and ruin it, but we'll tell you why that's possible. And they make a change. What kind of weird, unbelievably ironic world would exist if you have interim head coach Will Muschamp? Because you once had at Texas coach in waiting Will Muschamp.
You got tired of waiting.
The guy waiting on Mac Brown to retire. Turned out Mac Brown had a lot more years in him, just not all at Texas. What kind of weird world if Will Muschamp gets to lead the team out at some point? Now, again, that would also be the world where Texas has lost several games. They pulled a James Franklin on Steve Sarkisian, which, again, if I'd said things like this pre-last year, you would probably need to really go down the road. Ryan, you good? Are you sure? This is a little bit of a hot take, dude. Are you sure? But, hey, Penn State was preseason number 2 last year and had been in the semifinal of the college football playoff the year before, and they fired their guy halfway in the season. So if Texas goes down the road of 3 or 4 losses in the first 7 or 8 games, it's in play. It's in play. Again, I don't subscribe to the opinion Texas will lose that kind of many football games, but we now have interesting possibilities. Roster-wise for the Longhorns, again, we've probably beat the Cam Coleman horse dad. Ryan Wingo, though, is heck of a receiver too. 800-yard dude, 7 touchdowns last year. Like this can be a 1A, 1B thing for them. It's not that they desperately had to have a number 1 receiver. It's that they wanted 2 great ones instead of 1 really good one. So they've got that. Hollywood Smothers, I love. Name's great. But he was really effective at NC State. I think he's better than Quintavious Wisner, who was their running back last year. So they can run it better. Arch now has a year under his belt. Yeah, it was up and down. The start was really bad. Little better in the middle. Had the weird lapse against Kentucky. Didn't look great against Georgia. Finished strong, though. So peaks and valleys. It's almost as if it's a first-year starting quarterback. But we and look, I'm guilty. We're all guilty. We all had expectations. The name of Manning. We all did it to some degree. But it ultimately became a 26 TD, 7 interception, over 3,000-yard season. Many schools would take that and not ask twice about it. So the ability's there. Will it all come together? We shall see. I think, guys, the problem is, well, let me do defense first. Colin Simmons is one of the best defensive players in college football. And that's a hell of a place to start. He had 12 sacks last season. He's going to be a first-round NFL draft choice. Incredible player. They've got their leading tackler back in the secondary. They, of course, dabbled in some portal defensively too, just not as much as they did offensively. They last year were a 20-point game a game defense. The year before they were 16. Again, you mentioned Muschamp. This defense should be really good. There are no excuses. But guys, the thing I go back to, and I think that we're just going to have to be honest with ourselves, because we've always liked the idea of Steve Sarkisian. We've always noticed that he's run some interesting stuff offensively, and he's had some fun offenses. But what we might be forced to admit this year is that Steve Sarkisian is just an okay coach. He's just a solid, fine, not going to win a title, but it's going to do some fun stuff coach. And, that's okay for 80 to 90% of the schools out there. But he is in his second job now where that is, in fact, not okay. It was not okay at Southern Cal, and I know he had some personal issues there, but it's not going to be okay at Texas. And I'm just inclined to believe, even more so, guys, you referenced the Ryan Day. Ryan Day would win every game but the Michigan game, it felt like. And then he finally won his title. So every game but Michigan plus a playoff game. Let's say it that way. Sarkisian's been even short of that. And Ryan felt like, man, he just needs the big game to get over the hump. If he ever beats Michigan or can do something about the playoff, like, he'll be fine. Sarkisian, I can't point to one game he can't win. Seems like he's losing multiple games. He's been fine against Oklahoma, 3-2 overall, but 3 of the last 4. His first year there, remember, they were 5-7 and bad, and lost Oklahoma that year. So 3-1 against Oklahoma the last 4 years. So it's not that one. It's not like they've been playing Bama every year. Yeah, they've taken some lumps to Georgia, if you want to say it's Georgia, but they've only been in the league 2 years, so it's not like it's an entire Sarkisian issue. So it just feels like, I don't know what the game will be, but it feels like there will be 1 or 2 that will evade them. And maybe it's Ohio State from the very start, but I'm just inclined ultimately, I guess I say all that to say that I just don't trust Sarkisian enough. And I know for everyone, there's going to be a time they don't just all go on the scene and immediately win big. But I don't question Dan Lanning and the way I question Steve Sarkisian. Dan Lanning's not won the big one yet, but I really, really like Dan Lanning, and I think he will one day. But I don't feel that way about Steve Sarkisian.
I mean, here's the thing is with Sarkisian, I feel like we as a society and as college football fans and such got enamored with him because he was the OC at Alabama, and Nick Saban rehabbed him both ways, but got him back to this point. But you look back, you mentioned you went back a little bit and went back to his USC days. It was, and again, personal issues, but just fine. It was just fine. But at Washington, he was 34-29 before he took that USC job.
Yeah, unspectacular.
And we have seen now in the, you look at it, you're like, oh, well, it was Washington. But now with Kalen DeBoer going through Washington, we know what Washington is capable of.
And even Chris Peterson.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Peterson.
They would play off with him in a 4-team version.
You saw what they were capable of, not losing Alamo Bowls and losing Mako Bowls and winning Holiday Bowls. It's BCS level, playoff level bowl games is what that program is capable of. And now we're back to that spot. Now, again, he was at a program, had a lot of money behind it. Best he got in that first year was 9-4 for USC. And now we're here, got 12-2 as his 13-3, his best year so far at Texas with all this money behind it. If he doesn't succeed this year, I'm in the same boat as you, Ryan. It's like, have we gotten enamored that he was the Alabama OC? He had such good offenses following Lane Kiffin, all these great quarterbacks and great wide receivers at Alabama. Was he elevated there because you had the greatest coach of all time as the actual guy, and now he's gone somewhere where he's got a lot of money and he can succeed, but he just can't get over that hump and get you to where you need to be? And is he a 9 to 11 win coach that can't quite get you to where you want to be? And it's like a better version of a Mark Richt, where a Mark Richt could get you 8 to 10 wins a year, but he's not going to get you to that championship level.
Mm.
Steve Sarkisian can get you 9 to 11 wins and get you to the playoff, but he can't get you to that national championship.
I hope Jeff from Columbus is listening. I don't often call out callers. I did know he tried to call in earlier, but we had our guest on. If he heard that, I would love for him to answer Sarkisian or Mark Richt, because I think that's a good question. I think it's a good question. I think Rick was probably more stable.
Yes.
But I think there's still the intrigue with Sarkisian that there could be that little higher outcome.
And you felt like that was with Rick. You feel like you could get somewhere else, but it just never happened.
Yeah.
Is this the same, except it's just a step up where he can get us to the playoff, but he can't get us that national championship no matter how much money and talent we throw at him. There's always because it feels like he's never lacking of good play calling and stuff. It's just you feel like he gets out coached sometimes.
Yeah, and even in that Washington game when they lost in that last rendition of the 4-team playoff, pretty high scoring game. Remember, Washington was about to blow that game.
Yeah,
and Texas moved it in the red zone, and I think actually had goal to go. And then Sarkisian dialed up a couple plays that we were having to explain after the fact. We're like, what was he thinking there? Well, it was, I don't know, but maybe, So to be fair, in his biggest moment, and I would argue even despite going to the semifinal of a 12-team playoff against Ohio State, I would argue that's the biggest moment of his coaching career. They were about to come back and win that with Quinn Ewers, and I thought he did not meet that moment. And I don't think it was all on Quinn Ewers. I think it was more on Sarkisian there. So to your point, I mean, there always feels like there's something else to be had that he doesn't quite realize.
Yeah, it feels like there is it's lacking right there. He's right on the cusp of where he can get you to that next level, right on the cusp of being able to get you into the area that the Texas fans are paying for you to be in that level. And it's just you just can't quite make it. And it could be the downfall where it's just he's great. He's good. Maybe not great. He's good, but he's not Texas good.
I'm happy to report that
Jeff from Columbus
was indeed listening. And Jeff always tells us he is listening. And I guess I kind of made it a good little test to see if that was true. But Jeff, we appreciate you calling in. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. I was actually waiting for you all to go to a break because I was listening to your conversation. But I just figured, heck, you all may not stop talking. Let me just get in there. But hey, man, Mark Richt is too much a class act and wins 10 games a year. And like I say, he never won us a national championship. He had won us some SEC championships. But, I mean, he kept out players. You know what I'm saying? When other coaches probably would have played him. Kept out star players. So, I mean, it's kind of like I really haven't seen the big thing with Sarkisian ever. I completely forgot about him being in Washington before he came there. You all know way too much. I guess that's your job, right? But I just don't. Like you say, it is a good comparison. You win all these games, but you can't win the big ones. So but I don't know. I like Mark Richt too much to compare him to him.
Sure. Well, and Rick did it for so long, and I don't know in this day and age, with especially being at Texas, like if Sarkisian won 9 to 10 each year, I don't think they let him stay forever. And even Georgia, got tired of it after a while. So I don't think in this day and age you could even at a big time program compile that sort of consistency without some fruit being born out of it.
Exactly. And, it's so, I don't know if you remember, but Mark Richt's press conference when he said that he and the athletic director agreed that I would change roles or something like that, you know, and then the next thing you know, he's off to Miami. So, yeah, they just – they were, like you say, they want to win a championship, you know. So, in this day and age, now, well, I don't know. He didn't have many bad years, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And real quick, speaking of that, I thought Jay Jacobs, doesn't he write an article for you all or in Auburn or for one of the websites there in in Auburn?
Not us. I'm not exactly sure. I thought he had gone on to some other things. I know he's kind of been. I think he's retired now. I don't know. I don't know what Jay Jacobs is up to actually.
I think he's the dang AD maybe at Oklahoma. What do you think? Could he be there?
I should have known where this was going. I should have known.
Yeah, okay. I got you. But hey, speaking of that, man, I was listening. Well, I always listen, you know, but whether it's podcasts or something. You know, I heard Anthony call in yesterday, and dang, he was griping about Auburn. They ought to wear more, you know, cool uniforms. You know, change it up. You all go ahead and dang wear your colored uniforms and home and stuff like that. Dang, where does he think you're going to get that money from? You spent all that money at Robert Trent Jones. You got that scoreboard. Heck, who knows how much them roadblocks cost around Tumor Corner when you were playing basketball? Anthony, please. These guys ain't got no money to be changing uniforms just to play Alabama. So you should have told them that. Okay,
Yeah.
you should have told them that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So how I
mean, how y'all don't have it? You know, who brings up something like that? That's kind of crazy. But I guess cool for Alabama and Tennessee. I guess I don't care if Georgia ever changes their uniform. Never, ever again.
Sure.
Okay.
You don't want the black jerseys back?
Well, they do the white out
no.
now. They have a white out
Hey,
jersey.
yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what. Well, they came up. They do have some kind of jersey thing going on. What was that crazy thing? A white one? Isn't that what you were saying?
Yeah, white out. They just released.
And what's that going to be for? I hope it's for like McGee State or something.
I don't know which game it is.
I'll see if I can find it.
Oh my gosh! Let's just hope.
It's been popular. It's been popular the last week or so. A bunch of teams have been announcing uniforms. Connor was showing me a couple today. Missouri is going to come out with a uniform, and I swear they look like Vanderbilt.
You were close. Western Kentucky.
Okay, Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky.
That's a safe one.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, I don't know. We almost lost to Nichols one year. Don't even know where Nichols is. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Hey, there's nothing safe this year, especially it's not boding well for my Georgia Bulldogs against your Auburn Tigers. I mean, I'm going to the game. Steve's threatening me with running around naked. I mean, what in the world? What? It's not boding well at all. I mean, Steve, we might have to take this one on the chin just so I don't have to see that video. I don't know. We might give it to you. What are we, 17-0 or something like that? We're my goodness. I am so glad football season's coming around.
Yes,
I
sir.
am. Hey, guys, I'm going to let you get back to it. I may be coming through town in a couple weeks. I'll let you know in advance so you can take your vacation days and stuff and get out of there. But, heck, you all can't take vacation. It's that time of year, right? So,
you'd be surprised. I do actually have a vacation coming up right before the season. So
Do you?
one last blast.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, before the season.
Yeah,
Not
before the
during
season. Not
the
during
season.
it. No. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you get back to it. I do like this Texas talk. And real quick, would you all have rather have James Franklin than the coach you have now?
Whoa.
Ooh.
Leave a cliffhanging question there.
Well, no, I was just saying because he did go. He was already taken before your
Sure.
job became available and stuff. And I've just never been a big fan of James Franklin. So, and I don't. I don't know what he could do at Virginia Tech, but there's just something to think about, right? Things that make you go,
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
You all think about it, and I'm going to be listening. Okay, guys?
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Jeff. That is Jeff from Columbus joining us on the Sports Call phone line. That's an interesting one because he was never on the table. I will say that most were, we won't have revisionist history. I think most were good with the idea of Summerall. I think that was a leading candidate. I did actually have Golish. It's on the podcast. I don't know what days of the show it was. Dig through the podcast that I had mentioned Golish.
Listen to all of them.
I admitted that I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be Summerall, but Franklin was always such an interesting case study because it was like, you're signing up for a better football team. You also know you're signing up to not win the title or not to have the boom season. If you told me it would directly translate and you put Auburn in the playoff semifinal, well, I guess I'll just take my heartbreak then. Sure. But you also know that signing up for the SEC, ask Brian Kelly. It doesn't mean you're going to do the same thing at the big school you already did something at. So that's a good one. We'll have to ponder it more.
I'll say this though: is James Franklin already had success in the SEC?
He did, but not in a way that'd be pleasing enough to Auburn.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You can't stop there at Auburn. Now again, at Vanderbilt, you get the context, and then Auburn already had hired somebody that had quality success for that school in the SEC.
Yeah.
So,
and I know people can probably jump in like, well, Auburn has been good. I think the reason why Auburn's expectations are so high is because they're a team that knows they can bring in the NIL collective that can produce,
has the resource to get there. Yeah, it's not a never has been or never could be. It's about maximizing that possibility. But all right, let's take our next time out of the program. When we come back, we'll dig through the Texas schedule. We'll give you a ceiling and floor for the Longhorns in 2026. This is the Thursday edition of Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Sports Call is on the air weekdays from 3 until 6 p.m.
If you are currently driving in a four-door sedan, roll up the windows and turn up the radio.
We're Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Tiger Rewards checking at Auburn University Credit Union gives you the tools to manage your credit, monitor for fraud, telehealth services, loan discounts, and more. Visit myaucu.org for more details. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Today, high temperatures will once again be into the mid-90s, but we'll see a higher coverage area of shower and thunderstorm development. Around 40 to 50% of the area could see some much-needed rain. Lows will be in the low 70s overnight. Friday, high temperatures not quite as hot, as we'll see low 90s across the area, as many places do once again see the threat of a shower or thunderstorm developing. About half of the area can expect to see some rain, with lows dropping to around 70. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update.
Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory is here for you when you need us. With locations in Lee, Chambers, and Tallapoosa counties, serving the people of East Alabama and West Georgia since 1900. A family-owned and operated business, skip the hassle of the big corporate mortuaries. Our kind, compassionate team members are standing by to assist your family in the hardest of times. An on-site crematory, private cemetery, and a choice of facilities makes Frederick Dean unique. Visit us at frederickdean.com.
Some beers are made to blend in. Blue Moon Belgian White was brewed to stand out. Crafted with Valencia orange peel for a bright citrus taste and a smooth, refreshing finish, it's the perfect way to elevate any occasion. Served best with an orange garnish, every sip brings out its signature flavor. Whether you're unwinding after work or gathering with friends, reach for something a little brighter. Blue Moon Belgian White. Made brighter, please enjoy responsibly.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Let me tell you about the pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite. It's bright, it's bubbly, it's back.
The honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich, it's so rich, and you can choose between the original or the spicy filet.
Ooh, boy.
And then you got those pickled jalapenos tucked right under the filet, and then just to top it all off, you've got a little honey drizzle right on top.
Okay, now I'm a pimento fan.
And I'm feeling the dragon fruit.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
TK's Convenience Stores are your one-stop shop from Auburn to the Lake and Tallahassee to Tuskegee. Offering friendly service and a clean environment, there is sure to be a TK's located near you. Stop by on your way to and from work or school and pick up everything you need, from beer, soft drinks, and fresh hot coffee to food, snacks, and ice cream. Plus, automotive and household products, pet food, and an ATM in every store. Just look for the orange and blue Starburst sign and stop by your local TK store today. TK's Convenience Stores, they're your one-stop shop.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face, never ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA, Children's of Alabama, and the ABA.
Want more Sports Call? Check us out online at sportscallauburn.com.
Welcome back. This is the Thursday edition of Sports Call at Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Also streaming live, Facebook and YouTube at Sports Call Auburn. Ryan Lavoie, Brooks Childress, and Jack Myrick with you here today. We do want to get to the conclusion of our preview of Texas, but first let's go back to the Sports Call phone line, 334-887-3401 locally, or toll-free 1-888-9-TIGER-9.
Anthony from Auburn.
Anthony joins us. Anthony, how are you doing today?
I'm good. And you guys?
Doing all right.
Well, tonight is the night. You got two big powerhouse 6A programs going to kick off here shortly down there in Central Phoenix City. I didn't realize they were playing this week. It's a rematch from playoff time. So what do you guys who think going to win?
I might have to ask Brooks on that one. I don't know as much about the high school stuff as Brooks does since he does so much of it. But I'll tell you this, it doesn't really get any bigger than that, does it, on a Thursday night to start the year between those two?
It definitely don't get no bigger than this. These are two premier teams of the whole league. I mean, come on. Thompson's been that championship caliber team for years now and just been dominating, whooping everybody, cowering everybody down. You see what they did to Opelika, see what they done to Auburn High and everybody else. So I guess that's just what it is. Man, I tell you, a game like that ought to be played in Jordan-Hare tonight.
You would hope so. I wish, I wish they still played the state championships in Bryant-Denny and Jordan-Hare. I wish they hadn't moved those out of there. But it's about that worthy. Number 1 versus number 2, Thompson, the defending state champions. And if I had to lean one way, I'd lean Thompson, just because it's the first time that you've got this new head coach for Central Phoenix City, Coach Flournoy down there, came from Jackson. He's played in some big games with Jackson, with the Aggies down there in Jackson, but this is a different level. This is, as you said, Anthony, this is a team that plays regularly for state championships and wins state championships. And these guys over at Thompson have been there. Mark Freeman has been there several times. I remember watching Mark Freeman pace the sidelines at Spanish Fort before he went up to Thompson, and he ran that program so well down there in Baldwin County. But it's just a championship mentality, and there's not a better game to kick off the high school football season.
Well, I tell you, that's the news coach at Central certainly got his plate full tonight. I didn't realize. I had forgot Pat Nick had left. But where did he go?
Didn't he go to Colorado to be closer to Bo?
Yeah.
I feel like that was like when it happened, he went out there to be closer to Bo. And I think did he take an analyst job with Colorado, with the Buffalo?
I think that was speculation. I don't know if he ever took a job.
Yeah, I don't see him being listed by them in any official capacity. So I don't know. He's not coaching anywhere that I know of.
Well, maybe he's with some high school program or somebody. I'm pretty sure somebody that talented will pop up on somebody's radar after a while. But like you said, he wants to be out there with his son and everything and enjoy what he's doing. So that's understandable. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But I tell you, I'm going to watch this thing on TV here when it kick off. It's on one of these cable channels. So I'm going to check it out and watch it. So I tell you, that ought to be the highlight of the night, kicking into the next week. When did Auburn play?
They play tomorrow night at home against Hewitt-Trussville. So a huge one to start things off for them. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, this is their only home game till October. It is tomorrow night against Hewitt-Trussville, and then they're on the road until October 2nd, I think.
Dang.
On the road to October?
Yeah, that's right.
Was that 4 straight road games?
That's 4, yeah.
And then a bye week?
Yes.
How is that possible? What idiot made the schedule like that?
I don't know. I guess it's just how it fell to switch things up when they redid the areas this year, or the regions this year.
Okay. Oh, is it that hard to get people to play?
Well, here's
that too, huh?
Here's the thing: is they had played this team, Choctawhatchee or someone out of Florida. They had hosted them last year, so this is the return trip. They're going down to Florida to play this team from Florida next week, and then they've just got 2 or 3 region games after that on the road before they get home. And the back half of the season, you get them a lot at home, which is great for them. And I'm sure if they're in a like they usually are, they'll get to play a couple of playoff games at home. So I think you'd rather be at home in the latter half of the year.
But it would be nice. But I mean, starting out, you're gonna start out early August, having one home game, and then you're gonna be on the road the remainder of the time. Not gonna make it home till October.
Yep.
I mean, a whole lot can happen during that time, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's very rare for a high school. Yeah, that's very rare for a high school.
That's very rare for anybody. I mean, unless you, I guess maybe Vanderbilt or somebody. Some of those, well, back in the day when the schedules used to be like that, but now the Southern Conference got it where you home and home. Well, that wouldn't have been possible years ago. But I mean, come on. I mean, that's got to be a nightmare for any head coach to be in a situation like that. I mean, he got to be hating that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but when you look at it, you say, well, next year we're getting all these games at home and everything, and I'm sure they're going to get back to whoever they play out of conference. They're not going to play a Florida team out of conference. They were lucky a few years ago. They played some team out of Florida. It wasn't IMG account. I know they played IMG before, but they played another team out of Florida, and they got back-to-back home games out of them. They got them to come up to Auburn twice, so they're finally having to take this out-of-state trip, which is the big one here next week, but. We on high school coach show last night, we talked to some of the assistants, and they said, it makes the team closer. You get to travel together and do all this extra stuff and get to go out there, and you go ahead and get a feel for what it could be like in the playoffs, having to travel to all these different spots. So they're relishing it right now. They're getting ready for it.
Now, as far as the team they region, they got the same teams they had last year, or are they any different?
No, that 6A is one of the few that didn't change much. Like everybody else, when they reshuffled this AHSA this year, everything else kind of changed except for 6A. The region is the exact same. No teams added, no teams left.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll see what it does. Well, guys, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one now.
You too, Anthony. Appreciate it. That's Anthony from Auburn joining us on the Sports Call phone line. As I said, Brooks would know more. Brooks knew far more. I knew about 10% of that. So, Brooks, appreciate that.
Hey, I'm here to supply the knowledge that I have.
And that's, again, a good promo for, again, the high school coaches show because, again, you learn some of this stuff. Listen to Brooks talk to these coaches each Wednesday night at Waldo's. So, again, the man is very prepared. We can say that for sure. All right, so got about 5 or 6 minutes left in the program. Let's get to the ceiling and floor for the Texas Longhorns this year. Let's go ahead and do them both together. Jack, what do you think about the Longhorns ceiling and floor?
I think ceiling, I think I got to go, 10 wins. I think I'm going to go 10 wins. I'm going to say 10 wins. I think they got a very tough schedule. I think that it is reasonable for them to drop at least, those 2 games because they're Ohio State. You could argue that Texas A&M, LSU, Ole Miss. That's a hard 4 games to go fully one undefeated or to come at least, I guess, positive over the 500. So I think 10 wins for me is their ceiling. Their floor for me would probably be 7. I think 7 wins probably be the floor for them. I think they should take care of business against their lower opponents of the SEC, like Mississippi State, Arkansas. Missouri, Florida, teams like that they should take care of business because they have so much talent on that roster. So yeah, that's my floor and ceiling.
It did dawn on me in my haste that I did not read the schedule. So I will read the schedule now between Jack and Brooks. Apologize for that. Texas State at home. Then, of course, the big one with Ohio State week 2. UTSA week 3, so done with non-con. At Tennessee, then the bye. That's when I was referencing, hey, they got 2 big ones even before the Oklahoma game. That's the second one. Oklahoma game is October the 10th. Then they host Florida, host Ole Miss, host Mississippi State. Talk about Auburn High being on the road for a whole month. Texas is at home pretty much for the whole month. I know the neutral site with Oklahoma, but no true road game between September 26th and then November the 7th. They go to at Missouri, at LSU. Then they host Arkansas and at Texas A&M. So there you go, 3 of 4 to finish on the road. So it is very uneven. A bunch of home, then a bunch of road for Texas this year. Brooks, ceiling, and floor.
My ceiling, I think, is 11-1. I think that you've got too many. I know this is an all-star level roster. Basically, it is huge. But I think that with the fact that you've got a game against the preseason number 1 team in Ohio State, you've got Oklahoma, who's a preseason top 10 team, Ole Miss, a preseason top 10 team, LSU, a preseason top 15, and that's a road game, and then at Texas A&M, a top 10 preseason team. There's a lot of teams in there that I think that they could slip up to at least one of them. But I feel like if they are playing at their maximum level, if they are playing how we think that they could play with all this talent, that they could just drop one. And it could be that early to Ohio State. It could be Ohio, drop it early like they did last year, pick it up the rest of the year. It could be the last week of the year. Texas A&M finally gets them in the SEC, and it's being down in College Station on a Friday night, after Thanksgiving. I think that could be a danger zone there, but I think they could drop one on their best year. So 11-1. Floor, man. I think that they're good enough to obviously beat their non-conference opponents. And I think that they are good enough to beat Mississippi State and Arkansas. So that gives you 4 right there. I don't know if they are good if in the worst year, I don't think they beat Ohio State. When I said non-conference opponents, I meant Texas State.
I was about to say, I don't think that the worst year they just roll over Ohio State.
Sorry. When I'm speaking of that,
I
meant
TP
Texas,
on you.
The 2 Texas out of conference opponents, the Texas invites, I say.
Sure.
I don't think they, in their worst year, they beat Ohio State. Gosh, this is where it gets rough. I think that, I think in their worst year with this talent, I would say 7-5. I think that you could drop that the Ohio State game. You could drop a combination of Tennessee. If Florida's good, you maybe drop them, throw that in there. Oklahoma, you could drop. There's a 3rd. If LSU's really good toward the end of the year, there's a 4th. And Texas A&M, there's a 5th. Maybe Ole Miss, throw them in there. Maybe a combination of a Tennessee, a Florida, Ole Miss somewhere in there. I feel like
they just have so many home games.
Yeah, that's
so
the thing.
many.
And so I think somewhere in there, Missouri's in there too. I think a combination of beating a few of those, but I think 7-5 is my floor for them.
Because, and especially when you have the Ohio State game at home too, that's when you get the kind of more lopsided home season. So I'm going to be different because I've flirted with this before, and I'm going to be a little spicy and say the floor is 6-6. Again, I am using Penn State as a template. This Texas team should be more talented than that Penn State team. So I'd be shocked, right? But I don't say we. I didn't love Drew Aller, but people love Drew Aller. They didn't think Penn State would go in. I mean, they're preseason number 2. You don't pick someone preseason number 2 to think, oh yeah, 5-7, 6-6 is possible. So worst case scenario, they lose to Ohio State, lose to Tennessee, lose to Oklahoma. They're 2-3. They fire Steve Sarkisian. Whoops. Then they lose to something like Ole Miss. Then they lose at LSU and at Texas A&M. They lose all these big games. They come up with nothing. But their ceiling is still 11-1. Now, again, I can't go 12-0 with the ceiling of an SEC team except for maybe Georgia. Find out tomorrow. But I think that this team's too good to say, oh man, we can't excel. Like someone can excel. And when you have this kind of roster, you kind of have this kind of defense, it's going to take a lot, man. I mean, you got to beat Ohio State. It's going to be one of the best teams in the country. You're going to have to beat, go to tough road environments at the end of the year, LSU and Texas A&M. You'll have to beat Oklahoma on a neutral. But if you get over that Ohio State hump, you should be in for a really, really good season. And so best case scenario, 11-1. Real quickly, guys, we got about 60 seconds left. What is your record prediction for Texas?
I'm going 9 wins. But the reason why is because I have my doubts about Arch Manning. I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think he's the quarterback that can really take over a ball game that you've seen from other QBs across the league. You know, he'll face one of them being Trinidad Chambliss. And then you also have, I would say, Marcel Reed. He's shown an ability to take over a game as well. So teams like that, I think they dropped to Ohio State. I think they dropped to Ole Miss. I think they dropped to A&M. Get those 3 losses, but I still have them as a playoff bid team.
I think 10-2. I think that they with this roster, they need to go 10 and double-digit wins. But I think Ohio State gets them, and then a combination of one of these other good teams in the middle, Oklahoma or Texas A&M, something like that.
I picked them second in the league. I think they'll go 8-1 in league play. I do think they'll lose to Ohio State again and start the doubt process all over again. I've got them at 10-2. I think they'll be around the 8-ish seed. You know, Jack, the 9-3 man, that's an interesting one. That's going to be right on that bubble. But,
Yep.
you know, it's Texas. It's a great schedule. Yeah. So I see it. If anyone would be them, it should be someone like them.
I just think it's because of the opponents that they would lose to. And then if they lose to them close, and then you have a road loss, to Texas A&M.
Yeah, last year it's that they played overtime games with Kentucky and Mississippi State. They had a 9-3. They were preseason number 1, but they looked bad for half the season. If they look the part in a 9-3, that's when you look around and say, oh, what did happen? Is there one bid in the ACC, one bid in the Big 12? What happened with Notre Dame? Big 10, anyone outside of Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, that kind of thing. So very, very possible. Just very, very nervous if you're Texas and you lose 3 football games this year. I got them at 10-2. But again, it better be a really productive season in Austin, Texas. All right, that will do it for us here on this Thursday edition of the program. Jack Myrick, thank you for being here today, sir. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you then.
And Brooks Childress, thank you for being here today, sir. We will not see you tomorrow because we're going to see both you and Jack at the high school game of the week, East Alabama High School game of the week.
We will be there, and we're going to have a blast. And tune in for some great high school football action.
Yes, sir. That will be on FM Talk 93.9. tomorrow starting at 6:30. But that does it for us here today on the program. Again, we'd like to thank all those that tuned in and called in, and Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer for joining us. We'd like to also thank Connor Knight for running the stream for us here today. For Connor Knight, Brooks Childress, and Jack Myrick, my name is Ryan Lavoie. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Hey everybody, this is